If you've ever been extremely excited for a Hard Knocks season opener because it's your team and there's optimism, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Live Trading. It is Tuesday. We had kind of a wild day yesterday. Is that in store again here today? We will break it down. Of course, got 13 in the back. Let's roll.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
Good morning and happy Tuesday to everybody out there in internet land. It's great to see a whole bunch of returning faces this morning. Jane, Bob, Jonathan, Wally, Market Sniper, of course, Shaka Fairchild, Vera, River, Beach Bum Trading. We out here. Shaka, that's what I wanted to hear. We out here. We out here. Good morning, Amanda. We are out here. We are going to try and figure out what's going on. To do so, we're going to bring on the one and only 13. 13, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Just a little bit more excited to see something we can actually trade that's in moving in pre-market. So we'll get to that. As far as where we're going to go with the rest of the day, could end up just whipping around and then right back at start. So we'll see.
Yeah, we shall see. Good morning. A whole bunch of fly. I love the energy in the chat. Jay, Felipe, Mary, AC2000, Eva, Joe. Let's go. Prodigy Futures from our Twitter viewers. Let's go. All right, let's go ahead and break down. We're going to start with the SPY. Let's check in on the levels that we have here. We do have a little bit more of a populated movers list here this morning. So we do have some smaller stocks that might be in play here today. We'll go ahead and take a look at that. Then I also want to see if there's any other larger stocks that you're looking to trade here today. And I'm really looking to get the opinion of the group on what the market's going to do here today. So maybe we can position ourselves shortly after the open, if you're not already positioned. So, okay, looking at the SPY here, as you can see, yesterday we did bounce, right? So we had a huge move down yesterday, but we bounced. We did start to give up some of that bounce, but we didn't roll all the way back over to the lows. Now, we didn't quite make it down to the 200-day here, and while we are at this pretty huge volume shelf, like literally we're just right above it. We were right in there for most of yesterday. I still believe that this is probably going to test that 200-day moving average. Excuse me, that 200-day moving average. So when I look at the intraday chart here on SPY, I see yesterday it stopped right here around, let's call it 523 and a half, 523 and a half, whatever the actual number is, it is. And then it tried to test that again here in the pre-market twice and really couldn't get over that. So kind of thinking that we are going to stay under this. I wouldn't be shocked if we rolled over and tested the lows here, which were down at 508, and then inevitably the 500-day off the daily here. I do think even if we bounce today, and I'm wrong about intraday today, I do think inevitably we do roll over and test that 200-day. I also think it's pretty safe to say that the highs are in for the year. We'll see if I'm right about that. So that's kind of what I got here on the SPY. 13, what are you seeing here on the broader market?
Well, so far this morning, we're just kind of getting a little bit of back and forth between this 518, 30 level that I have marked off here and just above 521. We did get a little bit above 521 yesterday. Couldn't quite reach the 524.61 previous all-time high that we had. So I still think that's a level that we're going to have to watch for. We may even get as high as 527 today. It's entirely possible. I don't really know what the high or the low is going to be. All I end up thinking, I think that we're going to end up doing today is whipping around a whole bunch. I think somebody already said that we're going to see a lot of chop. That might have been Jay Rice. I agree. I think we're going to see a lot of chop, and then ultimately we could end up just right back to start again, closing flat on the day, maybe even closing within the real body from yesterday's candle. So that's what I'm looking at today, just a bunch of chop, and ultimately we close close to where we opened.
Okay. Looks like we have another Prodigy Futures. I like this. Yeah, it was a nice overnight dead cat bounce, but those last three nasty one-day candles, it ain't over yet. Today could be an inside day, though. Wouldn't be surprised. Jay Rice here says, my guess, a lot of chop. That is my guess as well. Amanda, looks like you're on the same team there. Chop for days. Would have liked to have seen a couple of Z's thrown in there just for some stylized points, but I think you're still right, nonetheless here. Okay, so that's it with SPY. Let's go ahead and run through some of the movers here. And then we can come back and take a look at any of the charts that you folks want to take a look at here today. All right, so let me go ahead and do that. First one here is going to be LYT. Let me actually see if I can get those pre-market shades back on here. There we go. There we go. Okay, first one here is going to be LYT. Now, with LYT here, there's no news, at least none that I could find. 13, I asked you earlier. I'm pretty sure you weren't able to find any either. So let me know if you guys saw anything out there. It doesn't look like it. This looks like just kind of a momentum move here, maybe a little bit of relative volume. 13, what do you think?
Yeah, I didn't see any news. Relative volume, like you said, seems to be the culprit on why this is moving today. And when it does get moving, it's going to be easy to push around, being that it has a 1.35 million share float. They did do a 1-for-60 reverse split back in February. That's been a while ago, so I don't really think that has any material impact on movement. As far as with price action today, the first thing I'd want to see for upside is I need to see is get back above VWAP, which I currently have at about 295. So that's going to be the first upside target I have on that. And of course, 3 is going to be right around the corner, being the nice psych level number. After that, I got 320 and 365 would be my next upside targets. That 320 is going to be the first level before we break out over the pre-market high of 328. If we do that, I still think we're going to 365 on this. Could go higher. I can mention levels once we see that breakout. But first things first, let's get above VWAP.
Okay, I'm with you there. I've got VWAP here at 289 on TradingView. We are doing a fairly decent job holding this recent low here around 270. As you said, 3 right around the corner. And then the pre-market high I have here at 328. Wouldn't be shocked if that was a level we test here today as well. Good stuff there. LYT looks like just kind of a momentum mover. Next one here, a little bit different. This is 10X. Now, I know that we've traded this one before. We've seen this one have PRs and some type of news that ends up driving it in the past. But here we go again with 10X. 10X Therapeutic shares are trading higher. The company announced the company announced an oversubscribed $100 million private placement. Sorry, that was so hard for me to read. So 10X here popping, looks like 550s, providing at the pre-market resistance. Volume actually looks quite good here today. If we take a look at the daily chart, you can see the daily chart less than desirable, although this does show a propensity to pop. However, it seems to drop right after it. So let's just keep that in mind. And if you do get gains on a stock like this, you probably want to think about booking them before they get evaporated, if you will. Take a look here at the share structure float, just under 2 million here in 10X. Stock normally trades just under 20,000 shares a day, but today 11.5 million. And like I mentioned, you got a PR here about an oversubscribed private placement news this morning. So what do you think here on 10X 13?
Well, I think that it's currently showing some signs of topping out at the moment. The MACD right now is telling us that this is not quite the time to try to trade this. It's already rolled over. I'd be looking for a test of the VWAP first. And then once that happens, we can look and see if it's going to try and break through the 535. I have 535 marked off as a level here that's been trying to get above all morning. It did have some pops above it. It got as high as 556 and came back in. No real good closes except maybe one over that price. But that's what I'm going to be looking for with this one. I expect this one will probably come back in when we open. Try to find some support either from VWAP or one of these other levels I have down here, maybe as low as 425. We'll see if that's what happens. But if it does sell off at the open, then I'm going to be looking for some of those support levels to kick in. And once they do, then we can start looking at going long. But for upside, this would probably end up going up to 7. And I think there might even be a bit of a gap on this one. If we look to the left, yes, there's a gap between 582 and looks like, I got a whole bunch of crap in the way. It looks like 830. So there's a potential gap fill in this one as well if we end up getting that high. We're not too far away from entering that gap. So another thing to watch for with 10.
Yeah, right here. Okay. Okay, really good stuff there, 13. Next on the list here is going to be Lumen. This is probably the big one here of the morning, at least so far. Lumen Technology shares trading higher after the company announced it had secured a $5 billion or excuse me, secured $5 billion in new business from companies seeking to secure their fiber capacity. Lumen, of course, involved in the fiber. So this clearly, I mean, at least it reads like a really important piece of news here. We really traded up, found some resistance here at 410. We've done a really good job holding in here. I know we've kind of pulled back to this 360 level in the pre-market a few times. We've actually taken out VWAP. Now we're moving above VWAP. Looks like we're trying to trade up. Wouldn't be surprised if this thing made a run at 4, maybe even right out of the gate here. 13, what do you got here on Lumen?
Yeah, that's the concern I have about this one, is making any kind of run. Now, it potentially can. This has a 18.8% short interest with 15.26 days to cover. That's a very, very strong short interest candidate, or short squeeze candidate. The problem I have with this is that the float is 731 million shares. So you have this supply that's going to be very, very difficult to move around. I don't know that it's really going to get going in any meaningful capacity. There might be some trades in this. The news is certainly great. I just don't think it's going to be one of those stocks that we like to trade that has a really low float, really easy to move around. This one might not give us the movement we're looking for, but it could give us the price action we want throughout the day, just not quickly enough. So as far as a day trade goes, trade it if you like. I just understand that the float is very, very heavy on this, and it's going to be very hard to push this up after this morning move that we've already got. Great theme, great story, great, that it's got $5 billion in new business. I just have that big concern about the float.
Okay. All right. I'm looking at the daily chart here, and it sure looks like this 420 area would be an area to pop. I mean, I know we get the lulls for the number, but also if it breaks this on the daily, I think it probably does go higher. Maybe it kind of comes back in right after that, but it sure looks like this is kind of gearing for it. We'll see if it's got the strength to do that here today. Again, if we take a look inside here, one of the first things we're going to be looking for is maybe a move above this 396 area. 4's, to borrow 13's term, right around the corner. Then, of course, we have the after hours highs from yesterday at 411 and then 420. So as far as levels here that I'm looking for, 396 in there, but definitely 410, and definitely 420 here on Lumen. So we'll see. Virgo, in it long-term, in it 160, patience. Okay, well, so far that is working out for you, because if
that's
you're
not a day trade.
Yeah, if you're not, that's not a day trade. And if you're in at a much better level, the only thing that I would say here, looks like you already have a plan by you saying long-term here. But when you get big moves like that, never a bad idea paying yourself with partial on the way up. But nonetheless, really good stuff. And you are sitting in a super good spot here today. Yeah. So congrats on that. All right, couple more here that I want to talk about right off the movers list. SGMO is going to be another one. Sangamo, we've actually traded this one a few times as well. Sangamo shares trading higher after the company entered into a license agreement with Genentech to develop intravenously administered genomic medicines for neurodegenerative diseases. Sangamo is expected to retrieve $50 million in near-term upfront license fees and is eligible for up to $1.9 billion in milestones. This stock was a penny stock yesterday, popping to looks like a high of 115 here today. This is a good piece of news. It's obviously trading up here. I guess my only question is do you trust it? And for me, no, I really don't. I will probably pass on this one. I actually think we've got some better opportunities off just this movers list, let alone some of the bigger stocks like Palantir that we're going to get to here in a sec. And then, of course, NVIDIA and Apple and all of that stuff. So I'm not sure this is going to be a target. What say you, 13?
If you are going to trade this, just make sure you're out of it, by the end of the day, or maybe even sooner. I think this thing needs to do a reverse split. It's got 206 million shares in the float. It's not making money. It was trading beneath $1. Like you said previously before this movement. I think it's still going to go back under $1. So there's going to be some compliance issues with that, and I think they're going to have to reverse split, and they're also probably going to have to raise cash at some point as well. Let's take a look at their balance sheet. They have about 54 million in cash right now, so might not have to raise for a while, but they are going to have to reverse split at some point soon, in my opinion. I don't think this is one I really want to touch.
Yeah, and I know that you just said that they do have 54 million here in cash, but their cash burn per quarter is almost 50 million. So I think you're still onto something there. 13 with that. So really good stuff there, SGMO. Okay, we covered these top 4. VC here, this is another one. We've actually seen this one pop here before. I don't think there's any news going on with this one. Sure doesn't look like it, right? Am I missing the VC? Shares are trading. That's from August. That's from Friday of last week. Nope. So no fresh news here on VC. This looks like maybe just some continuation, some momentum. And again, be careful here. VWAP 344 going to be the first level. 13. What do you got?
I basically took a look at this and said, "Oh, we've seen this one before," and we've seen this one before. No news. I thought it was on relative volume. I don't think that's what it is either. This probably might not even be worth trying to trade because it might just go right back down at open. So let me see if I can get you some levels real quick because we did trade this on Friday, I believe. Let's start with $4 and just see if it can even get up there. That's beyond the VWAP. That the VWAP is I have at 344. There's some preliminary levels. The MACD looks like it's trying to curl and go up, so there's a chance it might trade back up to at least the VWAP. We'll see what happens here, but for now, VWAP and 405 is where I'd be looking for upside.
Okay, really good stuff there. Here's another one. This is Core Scientific. This is Core's ticker CORZ. I'm pretty sure that this is a Sydney and Crow special. Looks like we had a huge move down to 7, and in one day or a day and a night here, we've bounced 2.5 points up to about 950. Absolute, huge reversal here. As far as cores goes here today, Core Scientific announces exercise of additional contract options by CoreWeave for delivery of approximately 112 megawatts of additional infrastructure to host high-performance computing operations. Potential cumulative revenue to more than $6.7 billion over 12 years. Core's up almost 15% here today. We'll see if this one breaks out. I mean, the big thing to take a look at here on Core is that we're pretty much back right to where we were trading sideways the last time that we were here. So it looks like we kind of recouped this. We'll see if we move higher here on Cores. Here's your daily chart. So you can see we've actually kind of retraced the move. We'll see if we move back towards those highs. 1250, really interesting if we get back up there, although we don't think we do that today. If the stock maintains some strength, we could see that here in the near future. So that's what's going on with Cores. Did you have anything on CORZ?
The only thing I would add to this is that maybe don't hold this into their earnings, which is going to be after the bell today. That's your risk to take. It could be very, very bad, or it could be very good. I leave that to you to do your research and decide if that's what you want to be in at the end of the day. For me, this is just a day trade only. Yeah, that's where I'd leave it at. Yep.
Amanda, with some DD here on VC, you're going to keep seeing VC. They're the only API-based telehealth solution in the space. They'll be moving with the GLP-1 if they can get their stuff together. Still not trading it though. So that's actually, I've never used the product. I'm not familiar with the product, so I appreciate this insight here. We're actually going to talk a little bit about that here in a sec when we address HIMS, which Virgo wanted to take a look at. So just bear with me. We'll get there before the open. Fubo, this is up here. Look, if you guys want to trade this, go ahead. Be very careful with this name. This is a name we've seen a lot of drama on in the past. I think I know more traders that have lost money on this, including myself, by the way, than have made money on it. So it's moving here, but be careful. 13, I'm assuming you don't have really anything here with Fubo. They reported earnings this morning.
They reported earnings, they raised their guidance, and they are a short squeeze candidate. So this actually could get moving. I don't have levels for this. When we open, if this does start moving, I'll peg some levels and we'll have that discussion. But 17% float of the float shorted. It has 7.76 days to cover. That's a squeeze candidate, and it's got good earnings and good guidance. So this could continue to squeeze a little bit.
Okay, we're going to get to Palantir here in a sec. Serve, this is also popping a little bit here this morning. It didn't see any news. This might just be on momentum, up 11.3%. We've covered Serve so much recently. I really don't even think I need to go into this. Nothing's really changed here other than the price itself. Lucid got more money from a Saudi-backed public investment fund. So we talked, a lot about these EVs really not being great stocks, even if you do like the cars for the varying companies. But Lucid here getting a 1.5 billion commitment from the Saudi public fund. We'll see if that drives it here. These stocks have been very, very difficult to trade. I mean, I guess it's worth mentioning we're up off the lows, but let's see here. That's basically what's going on with Lucid. On I'm going to go back over to the chart tool here. We're going to talk about a couple of stocks. First one's going to be Palantir, because this one reported earnings here. Popped over 28, almost 29. Came back in a little bit, and this is actually setting up to try and retest that 28 level. So Palantir shares trading higher after the company reported strong earnings and raised its guidance. And indeed, that's what we had here. So a beat on the top and bottom line and raised guidance. And that's generally the trifecta. So you'll see stocks end up trading up here. Now we're up 13.2%. So I'm not sure if it closes higher than where we're at here. Certainly seems like a good report to Palantir. If you're already holding this for long-term, congrats. This was another good step up. But as far as day trades here, what are you thinking, 13?
Well, I think if you bought this yesterday before the earnings, you're just absolutely patting yourself on the back.
Just an absolute wizard.
Yeah, just putting your feet up. So I don't really think there's anything I need to tell those people. If you're not in this and you're looking to trade this, I would be telling you that there are two levels of resistance I'm currently looking at. You have the 20-day SMA, which is currently at 27.36. We're right there right now, so it's trying to get over that. And then after that, we have 27.50, which is a level I've marked off based on previous price action going back to, I think, 2021. After that, we have 29.50, which is where we were sort of the level we were topping out at back in mid-July. So those would be the next three resistance levels I'd be looking at. I don't know that we're going to get much higher than those, but I could be completely surprised and wrong about that. As far as the downside goes, we have the 50 at the day SMA at 25.36. That seems to be a little bit more likely, given that we've, like you said, had a big move up off the 200-day SMA, and a move like this, I think, would probably warrant some cooling. So maybe we'll get a bit of a pop out of the gate, and then it could come back in. We'll see how this trades, but those are the support and resistance levels they have so far. We get higher than that 29.50. We'll come back and we'll talk about that then. But for now, that's what I've got.
All right. Real good stuff here. By the way, Tiffany wants to let you know that her feet are up. So it looks like she bought this yesterday. Congrats. That is really awesome. I love stats like this from Crassy. PLTR expected move was about 350 in either direction, and we are right at the upper expected area. Do with that as you will. Crassy, I'm not sure you could really formulate a better post in the room here, and you gave that to us before the market even opened. Awesome stuff there. Joe, love when people stick their neck out on a trade. I will take this for sure. It is okay to be wrong. It's not okay to stay wrong. We've talked about that a lot. I'm going to post my Palantir target, since you can't get credit for a great, that looks like a Tony the Tiger reference, call unless you make it before the fact. Palantir goes to 1705. Tell you this though, we get a significant pullback like that in Palantir, I'm gonna buy some for the long-term portfolio, Joe. So I would be okay with that. Now, real quick, go ahead.
He's had some great calls. I mean, he had great calls last week with the SQQQ and the VIX option. So not going to put it past him. I'm going to pay attention to what he says.
Yep. And Jay Rice here. I like this mention here too, real quick. SMCI set up for tonight a lot better than a month ago. Jay, are you going to trade this here for earnings? You could take an earnings gamble here on SMCI. That would be fun. Okay. Virgo also mentioned HIMS. I wanted to talk about that a little bit here. Yep, 1 minute. I'll make this quick. We really kind of pulled back here on HIMS. I don't think the highs are in for this. I think with the GLP-1 angle, and also don't they make like the I mean, forgive me, but they make the boner pills or whatever, right? They make the stuff that like Row or whatever it's called. I can't remember exactly
erectile dysfunction. Yeah,
erectile dysfunction. Thank you very much. So they make that. They make hair loss stuff. They make GLP-1. I think they're going to cover a lot of people in what they, just kind of generally cover here. I think that this stock probably goes higher. I don't have a position for it myself, so take that with a grain of salt. We did pull back to one of these moving averages, so maybe we've kind of set this up to launch. Worth noting that the last time we pulled back to this average, we really made a substantial move, so something to consider here. It looks like we're trying to recapture this 100-day, so just kind of keep this on your radar. Scott mentioned earlier, so figure we might as well just talk about this. Even if you don't like it, it might work out. Okay, we are open. Let's go and see what we'll see here. How about that?
Real quick with HIMS, there's a gap fill to the downside if we lose 1550. So there's a gap fill that could occur. Just keep that in mind.
Okay. As a reminder, the stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool. So if you need help getting above that 25K day trading threshold or simply need some more dry powder, check them out. They're great. Let's see what we can trade here today. I'm actually going to flip over to trade the pool right away, and we'll start taking a look at stuff here.
Yeah, so lit 10x. 10x looks like it's trying to. It got some support from BWeb trying to push up to the 530 level that I have marked off here. Not really.
Here is your VWAP.
Quite yet. Lumen tried to push up as well, but that's now turning red. Yeah, it might just be one of those things where we just have to wait for that that initial shakeout, and then we could start trading.
Yeah, 10x here. I don't like when these stocks spread out like this. I really don't like that. I like when it keeps a nice tight bid-ask spread there. New lows here for 10x. Now looks like we tried briefly to break below the VWAP there. We shall see. Good morning, Jennifer. It's great to see you. Jay Summers, here we go.
Joe mentioning Sava, how that could.
I'll bring it up here. I got nothing on at the moment.
Let's see here. That one's pushing right now. Do they have earnings? That's pretty soon. I think that's what he's referring to. Yes, in 2 days they have earnings before market open.
Lumen's pulling right to the VWAP here. Part of me is tempted to try some of this right here. Looks like we broke right through that VWAP.
Yeah, if I'm gonna do Lumen, I'm gonna wait until it gets down to like 350.
Yeah, 360 might even be another spot here too. Looks like that VWAP really didn't stop it a whole lot. We'll see if we get a bounce there. It was something to watch though.
I've seen a lot of weakness out of the gate with most of these that we're discussing.
Here's the bounce. We're gonna try and bounce here on Lumen. Let's see. Palantir, by the way, came back to its VWAP as well.
Certainly trying with sorry about that. Certainly trying with 10x. That's trying to come back up.
Also real quick, you were mentioning TGTX got mentioned earlier here today. TGT Therapeutic shares are trading higher if the company reported better than expected Q2 financial results and raised its Briumvi US net product revenue. So that was the big drug there that was driving TGTX. We've actually traded this one really, really well here in this room. In multiple accounts. So it's up here on earnings. I'm not a buyer of it yet here, but I really do like that reclaim of the 50-day. I'll probably take another look at this at the end of the day here today.
Man, everything that we were looking at just had a big old knife.
CEG, not the worst reaction to earnings. Let me take a look at that. Lumen's still sitting at that VWAP. Constellation Energy Corporation. So this earnings were yesterday, right, Jay? And then it went green and now is moving higher here today. Also, notice that moved quite nicely off that 200-day. This is an ongoing theme that we should be paying attention to here today. Or just recently, those moves off the 200-day have been pretty good. SMX getting mentioned in the chat here. I saw someone else mention this earlier. I apologize for not going to it earlier. Security Masters Public Company. What's going on with this one? I don't
right now, so halted to the upside.
Yes, it is. It is halted to the upside. I don't see any news or anything here, so maybe just some momentum. Halted to the upside here, 516.
All right, what are we doing here with the SPY? This is so far an ugly open for everything you're looking at.
So Samuel here is saying, can y'all chat about Kellanova? Would like to see it up from here, but I'm inexperienced. Okay, well, your experience level is not going to affect which way the stock goes. We had earnings yesterday. Stock did pretty well in terms of the reaction to the print. We came back in a little bit, but we didn't really give it all up. We didn't really break down. Felt quite orderly.
That's Kellogg.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure this is what he's talking about, though, because in Pro, it's Kellanova. Punch ticker K up.
Kellogg changed their name to Kellanova.
Oh,
thank you. Look at Alyssa just come in from the back with a nice big elbow drop, like Macho Man Randy Savage. I love it.
I was not aware. When did that happen?
I love it. Anyway, so after those earnings, it does look like this wants to kind of trade up. I would say, Samuel, here, let me get you a bigger chart here so I can kind of make my point with this. You're asking about you'd like to see it up. I would, first of all, I have a really tough time buying a stock that, really kind of popped like this. I like to see something. I'd like to see some type of setup. So what I call this is normally is a floating island, especially when it pops above its previous range. In this case, there's a range back from 2016, but this is still pretty good. And this would still give it some juice. What I'd really like here is I'd like this to pull back somewhere near the end of the pop and hold and then curl back up. The fact that it's doing it a little bit early, maybe it does break the top of this and go higher. That's possible. But generally speaking, the moves that are a little bit better are the ones that consolidate for multiple days and then break it. Generally, you get a run here. So I would just be really careful with this. Tough for me to say buy it here. I don't know if it's going to break this. I'd actually rather add this to the lower end of the candle. But, okay, let me go back to trade the pool. We'll roll through some. Samuel, I hope that was helpful. I don't have a great setup on that, though.
VC took off out of the open and got above its VWAP. Now it's holding above the VWAP. And then also Serve also had a nice move, but I think it's since come in. Just go back to that one real quick. Okay, so that one's also holding above its VWAP. So Serve and VC, the two names that have actually popped out of the gate and held their VWAPs for the time being. The ones that basically have no news.
We'll see where this goes. Let me check my scanner here and see what the relative volume scanner says.
Joda's saying VBIV takeoff. Take a look at that.
That's a penny stock, right? Am I remembering that correctly? Yes. Yeah, that's 20-cent stock.
Yeah, that one's up over 200%.
One of Bex. Kay had buyout rumors. That's right, Purgatory Park, and it wasn't official. So I mean, I could understand that. I don't have. That's what I mean, though. I don't have a line on that. I haven't been reading anything about that. Not something I normally follow either. That sector anyway.
Well, Just Joe had a good call with Sava. I mean, look at this thing. This thing is just really dropping. Really dropping. VBIV to be delisted on Thursday.
Thank you, WebCoin. Not one that I want to trade here.
Looks like LYT is getting some support from the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. I'll see how long that lasts. Yeah, these are just so now Lumen seems to, after their initial sell-off, it seems to be turning around and trying to trade back up.
Yep, went right through that VWAP too. That would have been a good buy. CMG at a daily key spot. That's from Glenn. Here, you know what, Glenn? Let me see if I can. If I do this, no, it doesn't because of those moving averages. Got it.
No, just Joe. I'm not saying you made the Sava dump. I'm saying your call that it was going to go down was right on.
Yeah, Joe, I guess we should clarify that 13 because there's a lot of stuff floating around the internet. Mm-hmm. We here on this show, we are realists. We don't think that we're able to dictate a market here. We're quite smart enough to know that, like, if we're talking about a stock and you sell even like your couple thousand shares or whatever, we're not causing the movement there. So we're almost always talking about the call and the setup and thesis. So don't worry about that. Lion Atlas says, I think the bleeding is going to come to a stop with NVIDIA. Okay, Lion, it sounds like you're starting to get yourself talked into buying it here. Is that fair? Fair, foul? What do you think here? Are you looking to buy NVIDIA? Disney, unfortunately, trading up here, was hoping for some more extension with that trade. We're already booked on most of it.
I think NVIDIA could still go down more.
Yes, I think it can. I mean, the question is, will it? I think it probably should.
It's going to be news driven. I think this whole week we're going to. It really depends on what comes out of the Middle East. If there's any comments from any Fed members like we got yesterday. I think this whole market this week is going to be completely news driven. It's going to be earnings driven. It's going to be economic report driven. It's going to any piece of news is going to dictate where this market goes. So SGMO
is recapturing its VWAP as we speak here. 105 going to be the day high. Pre-market highs are in here at what, 116. So what do we think here on SGMO, folks? SMX is halted again. We didn't even see that resume. Yeah, this one might be just a little too thin. RGC halt. Tuna's just got his eye on the halt wire here today. Love it. All again, really, really thin. Apple tanking.
Let's take a look at the watch list. Which ones are up, which ones are down? So Apple is down, Tesla's down, Amazon and Google are both down. Meta, Microsoft, and Nvidia are up.
Yeah, Apple, the number to watch here on Apple, I think, is going to be 200 and this 197. We'll see, though. We'll see, though. Apple is moving to the lows. Moving to the lows.
Yeah, that's looking like it's not going to recover.
What, Apple?
Uh-huh. There's a trend line that it fell through yesterday, and now it's resistance. Be surprising to me if we got back above that today, but I think this is a date with the 200-day SMA.
Here's Tesla, too. Looks like this is getting rejected at the 200-day. Speaking of the 200-day 13 here, let me bring up a better chart so we can see this a little easier. Take a look here. I know this is one of the favorite stocks amongst the group here. Here is Tesla trading up here today. Oh, come on. Volume profile adjust. Thank you. Trading up. We were rejected yesterday. We really stopped at the 200-day. Today, we're actually pulling back from it. Something to watch here on Tesla if we can reclaim that. Tesla mode today looks to be to the downside, so we'll see. This is that 200 that we're looking at.
Let's take a look here.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to trade the pool here. Let's take a look at Palantir. Palantir moving down from that open. First spot to really kind of watch here is going to be that pre-market low. Got that at what, 25.67. It looks like we already tried to bounce off that area already. VC getting multiple calls here. VC trying to go higher here. Crow thinks 4 is coming here off this move on VC.
It could. Got to get through that 380 supply.
TGTX might try and go higher. VBIV, that penny stock at the highs, although I don't trust it.
Looks like 10X might be finding a short-term bottom here.
That would be, you know what? I actually might trade some of this here real quick, and I'll just do a tight stop right at 430, right down there. Yeah, let's
try. All right,
try.
here we go with VC. There it goes.
Here, okay. I'm going to try some of this here.
New intraday highs.
Let me try some on 10X. We'll see if this ends up working. Here's VC. Nope, I got to actually get the right ticker in there.
Smoke Tuna. I don't think I saw that, but I totally believe it. You're always good with those bottoms. Don't take that joke any further than it is.
Yeah, take that. Take that. All right, so we are continuing to bounce here on 10X. Let's see if we can really get rolling. Would love to see like a 460 pop. That would be ideal.
Yeah, Jay Rice, that's a good point. Google and Apple DOJ lawsuit. We got the result of that yesterday, affecting the Qs. So, I don't know how long that impact's going to take to shake out, but it's moving the SQQQ right now. Got it to 1085.
SPY continuing to come in here. I'll switch to it here as soon as I see what happens at this 460. We're actually getting the movement that we really wanted on this. Would like to see a little bit more juice, which I'm not getting. VWAP at 478. So a pop above 460 might send us to the VWAP. We'll see on that. All prepared for a Tesla bounce, Lynn? Good to hear. Go.
It's got to get back above that VWAP.
Voodoo says, I still think we could see a pullback to 2830K. I look like a down number there. I think that would be healthy. Recovery from from there is based on who has the way. Okay, well, let's try and not rile up political arguments here, Voodoo, but I think you're probably right on that. Chipotle continuing to move higher, looks like. Okay, good deal. 10x looks like maybe it's not going to bounce here yet. It really runs through some of this supply to the downside. Probably just step out of this before it gets bad. I was hoping for some more upside movement, though. TGTX prints 20s as we speak.
That's nice
10x.
That's nice that Chipotle's trying to, back above its 200-day SMA for the moment. But the one that it's getting trouble from is the 20. Already rejected once back on Thursday by the 20-day SMA. Now testing it again. The thing is, if it keeps hammering that moving average, it'll eventually go through it. But so far, it's been a strong resistance level for this price action in CMG.
Lumen did print 4s. Looks like it's trying for more 4s. Did VC get the 4 print that Crow was calling for? Not quite, and it actually is breaking through the VWAP here. If this reclaims VWAP, I think Crow's right. I think if this reclaims VWAP on this move here, I think this probably does print 4s here, Crow. Let's see. Let's see if that ends up happening. But this actually snapped. This pulled pretty good here. Volume is not crazy, though, so maybe this can still get turned around. We'll see.
So here goes Lumen
10x.
It's taken out 405, which was a big level. The next one is going to be 415, where it's got a bunch of supply there.
And remember, 410 and then 420 are going to be 2 more spots here. Yeah, no, I know, Voodoo, but it's a sensitive topic for some people. That's all I meant. I don't think you did anything wrong. Around here, Apple trying to bounce off those lows. We'll see if it's successful in that. Nice to see Costco higher. Nice to see Bitcoin holding in, and the VIX took a chill pill last night. VIX not going absolutely bonkers, which we'll take. Look at Lumen. Here's that 415. Big offer there at 415. Let's see if we take it.
It's chipping away, but
there it goes. And deleted. Higher we go. 420, your next spot here. 419 has an offer on it. 417, your intraday high. I think if you pop above this 420, it makes a lot of sense to sell into this, especially if you took the VWAP cross on a day trade. Samuel sold my Kellanova calls at the high. Nice. What do you mean about inexperience? Nice job here. We're going to give you a register ring right out of the gate. Right out of the gate. You're the first to get one here today. Here we go. 420 here on Lumen. Let's see what it does. Looks like they're adding size to that spot. See if that's enough to push it down here on Lumen. This is working, though.
It looks like Service is trying to push above 16.
Serve, you said?
Yes, SERV.
Okay. Lumen here again. I'd probably lighten there on that move. Here is your serve looking like this is going to go. It looks like 10x is actually going to do new lows. Well, we'll see.
And there we go. Through 16 on serve.
Here, let me get a stop loss so I can keep flipping around here. There we go. Stop loss. I'll actually do that.
Getting some resistance. So a short pop. I know it's got to get above 16.14 in order for this to really start moving, I think.
U, ticker YOU.
You.
I'll be damned. I've done clear, secure. I've never even seen this ticker, but this is like, what's going on? Let me look to see if there's news here on this one. What a huge move.
Earnings. And they guided higher.
Okay, that's the trifecta then, it seems like. Clear Secure is an identity company making the experiences. Oh, I know what these people are at the airport, right? Isn't this the Clear skip the security line at the airport?
I don't know.
I think this is. So really quick, if this is what
this
is.
It is.
Yeah, so I did this one time thinking that this was actually going to save me time, and it didn't. It was, to make you feel like that, then they auto bill you after your free trial. Interesting, though. I wonder if a number of people forgot to cancel and they end up moving higher here.
Well, Delta has a stake in this, apparently.
Okay.
They have a buyback program of $100 million in place. That's some some news from yesterday. They have, the official TSA pre-check enrollment provider is what they're being billed as.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, you're right.
Okay. I'm familiar with the product. The people are really nice. I'll say that. People are really nice. 10X, we're trying to gear here. Tell you what, it's really going to come down to this little area right in here. I've got 457. Yeah, it's 459 offer. This little kind of area in here, and then the bottom, the day low here. This is basically it. When we break out of this is going to be over here for 10X. I got a stop set on that. Sorry, go ahead, 13.
Serve with some good movement, looking like it wants to try and go for that. Is this pre-market? No, it's after hours. After hours high of 1670.
No, 16. I actually think that's the pre-market. 13. I think that was.
I'm sorry. Just barely.
Yeah, just
You're
barely
right.
though. Just barely.
Just barely. Yep.
Gerald asking a decent question here. RR, is it going to follow serve? I don't know, other than the robotics angle that it has. I'm not sure that we've really kind of come up with a good connection here. Certainly doesn't look like it's following serve so far. Serve clearly outperforming. Not sure if this is going to be a safe sympathy bet, if as they say.
I would think that there might even be some connection between RR and VC. This is in the hospitality, so I think VC is also in that space as well. So
Ben's asking, Ryan, where do you find that the order size that you just spoke about? Ben, I think what you're asking me about is called the level 2, right? So on the screen that I'm sharing right now, a reminder, this is the Trade the Pool hub. Okay. Many of your brokers will have something similar. I have something very similar in Thinkorswim. They call this the Super Dom. I colloquially call this the ladder because it reminds me of a ladder, and that's how my brain makes associations. The numbers in here are basically telling me something. So the numbers on the sell side are telling me what the offers are, how much stock people are offering out, and on the blue side it's how much stock people are bidding for, right? And then you get to kind of reason I like this layout is because you get to kind of see how that changes and when size gets added in there. So when I'm talking about size levels, I'm saying that, hey, there's someone here trying to sell 30,000 shares at X price. Generally speaking, if that gets bought and taken out, stock likes to go higher on that. Let me know if I answered your question here, Ben.
Looks like LYT trying to find a bottom here. This is down at one of the levels I have marked off at 225. It's just right beneath the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. Trying to turn around, it appears. So I'm kind of watching that one right now. Also, I've got my eye on 10X and Lumen, those ones that we were also talking about. Lumen did get up to 420 and it came back in, still trying to hold above that $4 level. I was watching what just Joe was saying. He's saying it could come right back in right after it hits 420. So that's another thing we'll be looking at. Not in this one.
Yep. So far, did we even actually print 420s on this move? Yeah, we did.
It got right back.
We did. I think we did get prints there at that 420 level. That clearly acting as resistance here as it sent the stock back down.
Palantir, after going down out the gate, found some support down at 25.57, trying to turn around and recapture VWAP. I think VWAP is going to be the big level to get over. Currently see some large size at that it's going to try to chew through here in just a second at 26.19. See if it can get through that. It might have no problem doing that.
FYI, VC here dipped below its VWAP again. So let's watch to see if this actually curls and reclaims that. That would be something. That'd be a setup. SPY here. Jay, I agree with this completely. Jay saying this market is so tricky. Yesterday, the two group that didn't rally off the lows up the most today, transports and Dow. And if you take a look just kind of at the price action here for SPY, sure looked like we were going to kind of dip, maybe bring some of this back in. Buyers are taking us up to the highs. It'd be interesting to see where those buyers tap out, how high we actually go. Lumen broke at 420 because it got the munchies. Okay. And it's just out here. 10X looks like it's moving. Come on, 10X. Let's go to this VWAP. 465. This is the stock that we need to break. We've talked about it. We know what we need to do. Now you just need to execute. Like, why are we not doing it? I don't understand.
Because this market is weird.
Weird. Let me tell you something. The word weird is being thrown around entirely too much right now. Ben saying, okay, God. Thanks. Okay. Did that help though, Ben? Was that good? Let me know if that was if I actually answered your question there. 10x, yikes, really kind of spreading out here. Cell H, this is Celsius Holdings. This was really kind of gave back.
What's
my cat doing? This really kind of gave back its earnings gains here. Uh-oh, I might get stopped out on 10. What happened here on 10x? We're probably going to get stopped, folks. What a bummer, man.
What is going on here with RR? Just had a, maybe I'm a little bit late to that question. No, that was
VC. Okay. Crow's got the fingers crossed on VC. We'll see here. Up here we go. Reclaim on the VWAP. Crow, great call. Great call. Stopped out of 10x, unfortunately. Man, that sucks. We actually had some gains we could have taken. They were just small. I was waiting for the plan to materialize. We're going to keep following the plan. Keep following the plan.
PLTR putting in a bear flag at the moment on the 5-minute chart. Could not get back above VWAP. I think that at some point real soon, this is going to start to roll over and go beneath its 200 EMA, which is currently at 25.75.
Here is PLTR. I just took a look at SMCI. I see that is trading up here ahead of earnings. Looking at the Dow's leading to the upside here, although the entire market seems to be moving up now. Almost wondering if that's a trap or not.
You have a button for that, don't you?
Yeah, but I'm not sure. I don't want to call for it. I want to see if it actually happens here. ATNM. What are you guys seeing here on ATNM? Pop gap to 6 on this. So you're talking about this from yesterday. 6 and change here, it looks like. What happened with this yesterday? ATNM. ATNM stock earnings. All right, so it looks like but was that recently? It looks like they beat on earnings. I don't know.
It really is, Jeff Mason. It's just choppy everywhere.
So we talked about that. We kind of all agreed that was going to be the case. I'm pretty sure Dennis was in that camp from this morning. I was back and forth during pre-market prep, but I'm pretty sure I heard Dennis say he was looking at chop here today too. This unsurprising to me, at least so far.
Speaking of unsurprising, I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up making higher highs than yesterday, but still ended up coming back in after we did that. That's kind of what I'm on right now. I'm just thinking that this market's just going to try to push the price up, and then the bears are just going to come in and just swipe it all down. This does not look like a strong, sustained rally.
No, it doesn't.
It looks shaky.
Kind of coming back in.
All right.
Joe, you probably, Joe from the chat, you probably won't get any takers on that. Our community here is not about fighting one another, but rather raising the tide for everybody. So even if someone has a different opinion than you, they're probably not going to take you up on, quote, kicking your ass, end quote.
Well, I've seen a lot of other folks too have their opinions on Palantir, and that's fine. Palantir, I know.
Hey, that's what makes a market, baby. That's what makes a market.
That's okay. You can have your opinions on Palantir, whether you're bullish or bearish or where you think it's going. That's all fine. Let's just all try to make money.
LYT, did that do anything? No, that just kept dipping.
Not very lit. That's for sure.
Let's see if Lumen takes out some new highs there. 10x continues to roll over here. So your first stop is your best stop, it would appear. How about VC? How are we doing on that? VC right back down. I'm glad I didn't buy that breakout. Smoke tuna looks like the buying weakness still in effect here. Hey, look at this. Jay Rice, are you doing a table dance for this? Are you doing a table dance for this? Mullen back under $1 even. Even after all those reverse splits, Mullen just could not hold up, back under $1. Guys, is this the worst stock that we've ever seen since this show has started? Like, I'm asking honestly, is this the worst stock that we've ever seen?
No. No, I think there's plenty of others that have been pretty bad. FIE is one that that's no, maybe not that one. What's Faraday Future?
FFIE.
It is. Okay, so that is the one I'm thinking of. That one is just. I've traded that one a lot, especially back in 2020.
Okay, so Pavan says yes. Looks like JMI. Oh my god.
Oh wow.
Wow. So the earnings didn't go. Was this earnings for JMIA? I thought it was it last week? I thought it was this down 45%. Oh my god. I'm so glad that we were able to get out of that one. Oh, no. So whoever's asking, who's asking me this? Who's asking me this? No, I'm gonna find it. Lauren, can Ryan or 13 call a bottom on JMIA? No. I'll try. I mean, maybe you get a bounce right here, but I think it's probably a little bit 5, maybe. I'd wait out 5. But more importantly, I would not try to catch the knife on this. Okay, folks, we're having a lot of fun here with Mullen and all that other stuff. Looks like time kind of got away from me. It is guest time. We have an options guest here for you today. Proud to bring on Chris Capri. Chris, how are you doing here? Happy Tuesday. It's great to see you again.
Good to see you guys. How are we doing?
We're doing all right. We're actually having a pretty decent day here. Market looks to be a little choppy and a little tricky this morning, but that's okay. Longer term perspective, I'm happy as a clam because I've been waiting for valuations to get reset on a lot of these names so I can actually hold something for longer than 5 minutes. But how are you doing? What are you seeing here with the market?
Yeah, so if we want to just kind of take a brief recap to what happened yesterday. Yesterday was global deleveraging. You know, we had been deleveraging for a few weeks since the July OPEX. We had warned our traders ahead of the time before the OPEX saying, hey, we think things could pull back a little bit. And we started to see that. But it was the kind of deleveraging where it's saying, hey, we're just going to look at these overperforming names like these AI and tech stocks, and we're going to unwind those positions. And so as those started to get unwound, we didn't quite get the bounce that we wanted. And then we start to have these other kind of conflating factors come in. We have geopolitical tensions coming out of Israel and Iran, the kind of proxy situation there.
Mm-hmm.
Japan's markets, and South Korea's markets getting like halted limit down 12% on Monday to start the week. So SPY responds by gapping down massively to 508. The bounce since then, from a price action perspective, I would consider it corrective. I would not consider this a sustainable bounce. And what do we see on the flow side?
Awesome.
We saw on the flow side, we saw short-term call buying, 0DT call buying. So that means they were betting on a little bit of mean reversion. We did see some short-term put selling because VIX had spiked from 25 to 65. Some vol traders are going to take advantage of that. But I did not see any long-term buying. And so these types of bounces being based on short-term flows are unstable. If you get a bounce because of 0DTE, that's here today, gone tomorrow. Sustainable bounces are not made by short-term flows. Sustainable bounces are made by people buying further out in time and holding those positions as things bounce. And so 0DTE creates these high gamma moves, but it can also create a lot of volatility, which is why SPY sold off from 522 to 515 in a period of a few hours towards the end. So I think what we're seeing is a rotation out of everything at this point.
Okay.
Traders are saying, hey, we're not interested in big tech. We're not interested in AI. The bounces I'm seeing today, and those are very lackluster in terms of the volume, in terms of kind of the motivation behind it. It's still very short term. Nobody's saying, I want to buy it for 2-3 weeks out. Nobody. So I think what we're seeing is a corrective kind of short term bounce, but I'm still leaning towards another leg down in the markets. I think we are going to probably revisit 510 again in the near future.
Okay, I think that's spot on. And we were actually just asking. I was asking the group yesterday. Do you think in 5 days we're higher or lower from here? My vote's in the lower camp. Sounds like that's where you sit here too. Okay, so as far as trades go, then Chris, as far as taking advantage of some of this move, what have you been doing, or what are you kind of preparing for in order to make some money off what's going on right now?
Yeah, well, the first thing is to make sure that everybody had kind of deleveraged their bullish positions. So we cut our last bullish position at that point. We have no bullish positions in the market right now. And if you remember the last time we were here, which was a week ago, we said Q's is about to explode heading into the FOMC earnings. So we bought a long iron condor for our members and the trading waves. So if you think the markets are going to stay in a range, you sell an iron condor. But if you think the markets are going to explode and you're not sure which direction, you can buy a long iron condor. And we did that. That is looking very pressing right now. So we bought on Tuesday, tech earnings after market, and then FOMC. I think it was around 560 or 565. Here we are at, or 460, 465. Here we are at 440, 439. So that is massively in profit at this point. Now the question becomes, if we don't want to take any bullish exposure, where would we be open to rotating into? We just bought some downside protection in SPY and insurance play in case we do get that next leg lower over the coming sessions. If you also think that markets are going to continue to sell off, you may want to look at fixed income, looking at bonds, looking at TLT. TLT has had a great run the last few sessions. We think TLT is positioned to go to 100, but being that it's so close to 100, we're not ready to jump in at this point. We want to pull back to like 97 or 96, and then we can maybe take a move to 100. We don't want to take anything for right now past the August OPEX. We think if the markets are going to legitimately bounce, then the best chance for that is at the August OPEX. Why? Because we built up a fair amount of bearish positions over time, over the last few sessions. So we sold out for 3 weeks. Bearish positions have been built up. After yesterday's session, we saw all the puts north of 540 close. So pretty much there's nothing out there short-term to the August OPEX north of 530. But that shifted positioning down to 530, 532. So as long as we are below 530, 532 resistance zone, we want to stay bearish until we get above that. Once we get above that, calls start to gain a mild amount of control that will shift us out of negative gamma conditions. Until then, we don't want to take any bullish positions. So we like fixed income. We like protection on SPY. We don't see traders shifting to precious metals or Bitcoin or anything like that. This is just, hey, we're a little bit concerned. We're going to deleverage. And these are the only two things that are looking good right now. I don't think we should be even considering any other exposures to the upside until either SPY clears that resistance zone or we get pretty close to the OPEX. When that happens, a lot of those bearish positions will come off the board, and that will create some reflexive hedging by the dealers that will help provide a little bit of a lift.
Okay.
Chris, do you see if we are headed towards a recession, do you see the defensive names being attractive at any point, or is that ship already sailed?
I think that's definitely an issue. I'm looking at this as, hey, I want to see markets get to a place where long-term investors and traders say, I'm willing to buy long-term. Until that happens, I look at all the other risks out there as value, like actual legitimate risks, but we don't have an impetus to get long until we get to a place positionally where markets will be supported. So remember, in negative gamma conditions, when the market moves up, dealers are going to buy, and when the market moves down, dealers are going to sell. That's their hedging activity. So that means that rips to the upside are going to look very legitimate and like, oh, wow, we're bouncing where the bottom's in. And then you see that it sell off. We saw that yesterday. Markets ramped up to 523, and then they sold off to 515 in a matter of hours. That is negative gamma. Until we get to that positive gamma kind of positioning wise, I don't think we want to take any bullish positions in the market and that everything out there is a risk. Obviously, the war in the Middle East escalating could become a problem. I still haven't seen traders shift or rotate into energy at that point. They're just saying, look, we don't want to own anything right now. This is what we call risk-off environment. And so there are a lot of things. We got, NVIDIA earnings end of August, the 28th. We got a lot of things in August that if they don't come in line, we could be in for more losses. And for me, the Alamo is 500. We lose that, we got problems. So traders are not panicking yet. They're being protective. They're willing to buy protection through the August OPEX, but they're not willing to buy out till September, October. If we lose 500, you will start seeing positions shift out further out in time. And then we will probably start to see something closer to, oh, shoot, we're in trouble. So we haven't gotten there yet, but the shot has been launched across the bow. People know this is a serious issue. So we are not far from recessionary conditions, but we also have some buffer to work with.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Real good stuff. Chris, any parting words or words of wisdom for the rest of this week?
Yeah. So, I've been doing this 24 years. I've seen in some market or another a market crash every year and a half to 2 years. And it is important that we remember we are not married to the bull side or the bear side. We are not monogamous when it comes to direction. We have to be willing to change our bias and change our view and trade with the most dominant flows. Our job as traders is to first manage risk. And then once we've done that, then we can start seeking alpha in the markets. So make sure first that you are managing your risk. Because things can be more volatile, we suggest reducing position sizing. If you normally is 1% per trade, we recommend reducing that to 0.75 or 0.5%, about half or 3/4 your normal position sizing, because shifts can be a little bit bigger than normal. So you may not anticipate moves of round trips in SPY of 1.8 or 2% within a few hours, but it can happen. So reduce position sizing, manage risk first, only then look for alpha, and wait for the flows to kind of let you know, hey, we're pretty dominant in this direction. Until then, be patient. If we do sell off, relax, don't panic. You can make money in these markets. My best years were when markets were selling off 06, 07, 08. And then, the sell-off in COVID, we made a ton of money, and then we made money in the rally. These are volatility provides opportunities to make money, and you have to be smart. If you're smart, if you're patient, if you control risk, you can make a ton of money. So just be patient out there. You'll find your opportunities.
Okay. Chris, I think that's extremely well put. Folks, if you want to see more of Chris or you want to keep up on the flows like he does, I went ahead and put a link for a webinar that we do in the chat. Go ahead and sign up for that. Chris, cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much for your insights. We're going to do it again. All right.
That'd be great. Good seeing you guys. Take care.
All right. Take care, Chris. That is Chris Capri, our options expert. Does a great job on the research site with some of those subscriptions too. So if you're looking for more insight on that, be sure to check it out. That is Chris Capri. So what do you think, 13? What do you think based off all that? Where are we going?
Well, hopefully down.
Hopefully down. I mean, look, here's the thing. Like, we've been saying that for a while. There's been some of these moves to new highs that have really kind of been puzzling. But I think at some point this is all going to inevitably shake out the way that we're looking. So we'll see. We'll see if we end up getting it here. Really appreciate Chris's insights.
Oh, absolutely.
Here's VC, by the way. So while that was going on, I know VC was getting ready to roll here. We actually took some of this here. Here's VC. Let's see. We're going through that consolidation area. Let's see if we pop here. Would love to take some here on VC. Crow, what are you thinking on VC? I know that you were watching this one. Lumen getting a call. We'll go to that here in a sec. Got a nice little chunk of VC. Finally got all my cash and sitting on my hands. Great job there, Shaka. Registering. Let's see what 375 does here on VC. Do we go to 385? There's a pop.
Trying to push to 405, it looks like.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. We were looking for 4 prints here. Let's see if we get above this. 390, your high of the day. Little bit of size up there, but one big volume candle can take us up and through that. That size actually not massively big either. Actually, I am going to raise my stop here just so I don't let this go red on me. I'll probably get stopped out, but I actually want to move away to some other stocks and take a look at what's going on here. Here's Lumen. This actually looks like this might be going back towards the highs too. We did get stopped out of VC, but we got stopped out for a gain there. So we'll come back to that if we need to. Jay Rice saying the 8 a.m. guest, his fave was Meta, a decent call, liked NVIDIA too. Let's take a look at those charts. We haven't looked at Meta yet today here. Meta did move higher. Not a huge move here, though, in Meta. It looks like it's being stopped by the 50-day on the daily there, Meta. How's NVIDIA holding up here? NVIDIA's trying to go through that, 104.5 to go to 105 there. TGTX, Virgo, you still on that? Oh, yeah. This is actually really good action here, too, right? We dipped after that. I'm sure that's people taking gains for the binary event. Then bang, right through the VWAP. Looks like we're going higher here, too, on TGTX. We're right at the 20-day. So it'll be interesting to see if we can actually close above that. That would be pretty good. Let me bring this up on a bigger chart so we can look at it together. Here's your TGTX. Here's the daily. Okay. Here's your 20-day, this purple line. We're like right on it. Would love to get a close above that. Would not be shocked if this double top here at, let's call it 22.5 to 23. Would not be shocked if that was the next test on a close above this.
Earlier, we were getting asked about Mara and I don't remember if it was CLSK.
CLSK, I think, yeah. Here's Mara. Oh, nope. That's not Mara. Sorry, guys. Here's Mara.
Looks like it's probably going to end up heading lower. It really just, watch what Bitcoin does. I mean, Bitcoin's been rallying, so it would stand to reason that the Bitcoin names would move up as well. Mara not really doing that right now. Not really recovering as well. Take a look at CLSK. See what that one's doing.
Smoke, while you're doing that, Smoke Tuna, you're mentioning Lumen here. Now, Lumen is curling up off the VWAP. This looks good. Volume doesn't look great. 420. It looks like there's size here on the ladder at 419, but 420 was a spot that we talked about earlier. What do we think here on Lumen? Tuna, you think that this is a move through some of these highs here? You think this is a breakdown? VC is going. There we go. There's the 4 that we were looking. Well, we didn't quite get there. Looks like 390 was the high, right? So we just took out the high by 3 cents here, and we're coming back in. We think we might have to be a little bit more patient than I was with this one for this 4 break.
Not just patient, but careful. These wicks up here on every single one of these candles so far today is making me a little nervous. Like if we'll hit the target and then we'll just come right back in with no time to react to that. So be careful with this one with VC.
And here you go. So here's what I'm thinking. One of the things we might want to look at here. I mean, 360, if this pulls back to 360, does this maybe bounce from the VWAP and then go? I mean, I'm just looking for another spot here where this, because you remember, Tuna, we were talking about this, maybe last week, I think. Buying these moves up are going to put you in a world of hurt unless your timing is absolutely flawless. Almost better to buy weakness. I'm wondering if we think the VWAP is a decent hold spot, given the wicks that you were just talking about there. Nonetheless, though, we're on the right one here. We'll see if VC goes. For those of you that are staying in this, good luck. Have a plan to protect yourself in case it doesn't work. But this looking really encouraging. I mean, to this action to me, especially with the expanding volume here, this looks like this wants to go higher. I just straight up, this looks like this wants to go. We'll see if it does. I was getting pinged here by something.
Just really don't like those upper shadows. Yeah, that's it, Jay Rice. This is not the market to chase.
No, and Jay, you are completely right with that. Completely right with that. And look, we talked about this cut last week too, right? Like if you don't have a setup that you feel really good about, sit on your hands. You don't have to be a hero. Not the market to try and be a hero in either. Crow says Ken Griffin is changing the algos. Crow, I do appreciate the sense of humor here a lot. Robert, correctly saying a lot of fear right now. Robert, I would agree with that. I even have some myself. Market, macro, whole 9 yards. I'm with you, Robert. I think how's your ASML doing, by the way? I don't even think I've looked at that here for you today. I apologize for that. Well, I tell you what, this actually holding higher here. You caught that bounce, didn't you? Maybe we get a 200-day reclaim here, 849. We're not even far from that on ASML. This was a good buy, Robert. You're sharp to buy that one.
So the SPY, once again got up to the 524. Let's call it 524. That level that it was hitting in pre-market yesterday, hit intraday yesterday, hit it in pre-market this morning, and now it's hitting it again. I got to think at some point it's going to hammer through it, but I don't know if it's going to be able to sustain that move. It just keeps wanting to test it, and eventually I think that'll break through. But I don't have any confidence that it's going to continue that move up. We are making higher lows ever since yesterday, so that's one thing to watch for. But I really just have the sense that even if it does break over that level, it's just going to come right back in, and we're going to head lower.
Yeah, I was just going to say that when he was done talking, but Jay Rice typed it out and beat me to it. The VIX rarely stays elevated for long periods of time. Mm-hmm. Jay, you probably have more experience since you've been doing this for longer than I have, but it seems to me that 50 is really, when we trade above that 50 number, it really likes to kind of oscillate, right? It doesn't like to stay up there. And if it does for multiple days, we got big big issues there. But really good mention here. Does help that the VIX has moved back in. By the way, Sydney's mentioning that IVP is up 18%. Remember, this dipped into the close, and now it's actually gone green here. It's up pretty significantly. Buddy knows. I forgot what this is. This is Interveterinary something or other, right? Inspire Veterinary Partners. Owns and operates veterinary. Yeah, Buddy doesn't like the vet. I'll tell you that much. He really doesn't. He's good at the vet because he's a good boy, but he doesn't like going because he had a bad experience with a really crummy vet tech one time. But that's probably neither here nor there, and TMI for you guys. All right, let's see. What other stocks are we trading here? 13, what do you got?
Oh, I was just kind of taking a look at the IVP you were mentioning, because this one always seems to show up every week, doing something. And it's probably because it's floats so low, and it was, shorted pretty well. Days to cover is not there, but its short interest is like 42%. So you see it pop up every now and then, and sometimes on news. Maybe there's some news from this morning, so you're getting some movement off that. But it always seems like this one kind of rears its head somewhere out throughout every week. All right, so we are trying to get
Tom,
that
real quick, Tom, that 6,000 call, there's no reason to feel bad for him. He had an opportunity on the same day to close that trade for 120% like I did. And I believe Matt from in the chat here did the same thing. There's no reason to feel sorry. That thing, those specific calls literally went 100% in a day. You had an opportunity. I'm glad I took some. All right. Which Lumen was getting mentioned here in the chat? No, Lumen was too.
Okay. Yeah, I was just mentioning how the SPY is like trying to get above that level I was just talking about at 524. This is where we could see the market come right back in, and just have to wait and see if that's what we're going to get. It's looking like it's kind of topped out here for the time being. So we'll see.
So here we go. This is that level here that we were talking about earlier. See if SPY can get it. It's got to not just get above that, but it also has to hold above that as well. Okay, folks, just looking ahead here, I want to give some of the schedule a little bit. We are going to have an all access with Zunaid 10:50 to 11. Then after 11, we are going to have Anne Marie. I confirmed with her already. And then after that, we're going to have Paul Meeks. So we got a really good lineup here for you. Stick around. In the meantime, got some more stocks to trade.
Virgo,
we got some more stocks to trade. Sorry, go ahead.
What time frame are you looking at with Kava? When I look at it daily, it gives more of an appearance of a head and shoulders, even though I would kind of question that's what we're seeing. For the price action, though, trying to get back above the 20-day SMA is the thing I'd want to see next with Kava for more upside, and then it's got to work on getting above the 50. That might be a tall order for this. It's still in a bit of a downtrend off the highs. I personally think that this could end up going lower, but if I'm wrong about that, it's going to be because we started recapturing those moving averages. So first 20-day SMA.
The thing with Kava is like that stock is so expensive. Like at some point that's going to come back in. I can't tell you exactly when, but at some point that's going to come back in. I almost think your trade is better to the long side here. By the way, Chipotle, I brought this up. We're in calls here small on Chipotle. This is working. I can't, given what we saw, last week and then yesterday morning, CMG still working here. The power of the 200-day, folks, is still pretty good. Pretty good here on CMG. Also, one of the other positions that we talked about recently, 13, I know you closed out of your Disney position. I have just a trailer left as I was able to take some gains on mine. But I've got 101 days, so I kind of want to hold this and see if we roll back down to the 80. We are a little bit higher here today. We're really kind of struggling to get above where we were at on Friday, though. So we'll see.
Let's take a look.
MGOL?
Disney needs to recapture 90. It doesn't do that, then I think you're what are you applying puts?
Yeah, 80 puts that expire November.
Yeah, your puts will probably be safe as long as it has a hard time getting back above 90. I think that you definitely could end up going lower.
Okay. Well, at least we've already paid ourselves with part of the position, right? So we've done our responsible risk management, locked in some of those gains. So we should be all right. Let's see. KRE looks like it might move. Maybe. And actually, this bounced nicely off the 50-day, Robert. That bounce would continue. RR new low. So it looks like, Robert, you're looking at RR here. Scott Rathbone also looking at this. Looks like $1 here on RR. Boy, I tell you what, this was the opposite of Serve. Look at Serve. Serve continues to move up. So we answered that question here. I know it's a little bit late, but this is obviously not, they are not sympathy plays, right? They got their own thing going on.
Serve hit the pre-market high, so that was the exit play right there on this current 5-minute candle.
Yeah, it actually popped above it, but it came back in, didn't it? Yeah,
slightly, yeah.
Yeah, it did.
Now, maybe this continues to go up, but I think that there'd be a short period of where this goes down and tests, maybe even test VWAP. Somewhere between maybe 1630 and VWAP would probably be where it comes down to test, but. If we're going up, that's what I would be looking for, is just a little bit of a chance to reload.
HTCR, this stock was trading up. This is really, really low volume, though. That thing's been really beaten down. Penny stock. There's VC that's still holding out here. That didn't make its big move. It looks like it stopped right at 4. Boy, we had that plan flagged really well. The thesis generation has been really kind of flawless recently. Been dealing with a lot of crap in the market. Sorry, go ahead.
Line Atlas, I know you get a lot of these long-term calls really well. I mean, you and I were working on FMC. I'm not so sure about CMG. Well, maybe for the long term that might be good, but with the consumer slowing down and more eating at home versus away from home, I think restaurants are going to come in. And I don't think they're done coming in. So there might be some more downside in CMG, but I'm sure if that's part of your plan, then you'll be adding more.
So hold on. I want to comment on that, and I'm just going to play. I guess the devil doesn't need an advocate, but I'll play the other side of that just to be a contrarian. Okay. I think you're exactly right. I think your thesis right there is exactly right, and I think that restaurants will continue to hurt because the consumer is going to weaken. I think you're right on both arms of that. The one thing that I'll say for Chipotle is it is an option that is inexpensive. It is what you trade down to, not what you trade down from. And I think that might be, maybe it doesn't bolster it because maybe the economy as a whole and the consumer as a whole just overruns it to the downside. But I think that Chipotle is a little bit, I don't want to say safer, but I kind of want to say safer. I think that it's going to have a little bit of a longer runway. For example, let's compare. I think Kava takes a beating a lot sooner than Chipotle does because the stock is more expensive and the food, frankly, is more expensive. Chipotle, I think, is a little bit safer in that regard. But to your point, 13, this is really going to depend on the consumer. There's a ton of shares out for Chipotle. So if that really starts to move to the downside, it could get ugly.
So with that in mind, would you be buying McDonald's too?
Good question. Good question. No, and you want to know why? I'm gonna throw in another angle here. Okay. And you're gonna be pissed about it, but we're gonna throw in another angle here.
Make me mad.
McDonald's, arguably one of the food companies that is going to be the most affected by a proliferation of GLP-1s, and Chipotle, much cleaner, much healthier, much easier to eat. If you're gonna take the Ozempic, Mounjaro, Wegovy, whatever, weight loss, let's call it the love handle trade, right? If you're going to take the products that compose the love handle trade here, I really think that during that, you're going to eat a lot less of the super junky food. And I think with Chipotle, you're going to be able to slide by with some of it. That's my thesis. We'll see if that plays out here. And to be clear here, because I feel like I'm defending Chipotle here, I'm in this for a short-term trade. In fact, my Chipotle calls expire in September. So we're going to be out in the next 45 days, no matter what. I know Lion might've been talking about Chipotle for long-term, but just to be clear, my position's a shorter-term one and it's working.
Can I offer a counter to that counter?
Yes. No, this is what makes the market. Like, let's do it. Yes.
I just don't think that people that are buying McDonald's are necessarily going to be on GLP-1s. I don't think that if they're spending, saving money to buy McDonald's, they're not going to be saving money to also spend on GLP-1s.
Fair.
I love that conversation. That was fun.
Yeah, no, look, I'll do that stuff all the time. We were been talking about like learning and stuff that's helpful and this and that. The most helpful thing over the course of my career is when people disagree with me, not when they agree with me. In fact, I'm going to say something a little controversial here. What we need to do to make more money in the stock market here is do the Costanza approach to what the politicians do. So whatever politicians do, what we're going to do is the exact opposite. Okay, and that way we're going to put ourselves in a better position here to make money. And I'll just leave it at that.
Lion Atlas, what restaurants? Like, what are, I'm not trying to refute you. I just am curious, like, what restaurants do you own? Like, what food do they serve?
Yeah, I'd actually like to know that too. Also, Lynn here, sore food subject. Portillo's reported and is up 50 cents today. You want to know what the funniest part of this is? Portillo's reported a miss on the top and bottom line and traded up. So I ask you, Lynn, is the bottom in? Who knows? All I know is that I am upset with that management team. We'll see if they can turn it around.
Caterpillar actually was getting mentioned in the chat, but that one actually provided a nice 6-month low to pick some up here. And it's also moving off of the 200-day SMA after opening beneath it and recapturing it. That's interesting. We'll have to see if this can continue to hold up at this level here. It's still got to get through that 50 and 20-day SMA, and it's got some consolidation that it's currently working its way through. If it can hold up here, this would be interesting to me.
Morning, Roger. Or Roberto, excuse me. Why can't I read it? Tell you what, I might need to replace this side monitor here because I make too many mistakes trying to read it. But Roberto, welcome. Bottom not in. Bounce happens with management change. Things are going to get worse before they get better. Man, oh man, that's why I just can't recommend anyone buy that. I really can't.
Brittany, yes, I'm interested in Caterpillar. It's an industrial stock.
And look at the move off the 200-day.
Yeah, I'm interested in it. That's all I'm kind of leaving it at. I'm not rushing out to buy it right now, but it's looking interesting to me, and I want to see if it can hold up. Draw a little bit of a trend line here. I think it needs to get back above, but that's going to mean it needs to get back up into the 350s. So we'll see.
Cat, by the way, Caterpillar, this is a very, very popular long-term stock. When I'm talking to people that have been in the market for a long time, this is often one that I find in their portfolio for a long-term hold. It's actually had a pretty good move too. Okay. You folks are welcome. MGOL, let's see here. Wish we had SPY rejected. Oh. 1 hour loop, dude, with the call. Look at this. So SPY is rejected at that same level that we talked about.
Cool.
Let's see if we roll back over, or maybe we set up to take it out. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. And it's okay on the caps there. Hour loop. You're good.
He's excited.
Yeah, look, I'm a reasonable guy. I'm a reasonable guy.
Serve blasted off to 1720. That's coming back in now to test the 1675 level. That was the pre-market high. So far, Serve looking much better than some of these other ones we were talking about this morning. Lumen back up to near the 420 level. It looks like this one wants to try to break over the 420 handle. Let
me just make sure this was not a typo. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt here. Joe, you're saying IWM to 105? You think IWM is going to get cut by 100 points? I'd love to know more about that thesis there. Not saying that you're wrong. I mean, maybe you're right, but man, oh man, that would be brutal. What's the catalyst to do that? Unless you meant 205, in which case that's 75 cents away. That's why I was checking. We'll see what you mean there. Get some clarity on that.
Yeah, that's like pandemic lows.
Joe saying CMG's going to 48, but the puts are a tad too rich for my tastes. Where do you think it stops its up move first?
Probably gets rejected at the 20-day. We haven't. It's right there right now, and we haven't finished the day yet.
Joe, this makes it's all good, dude. We all make typos. Generally, I speak trader pretty well, and I'm able to read through the typos there. But numbers like that, just have to double check here. This makes a lot of sense, right? You're waiting for a 205 print, and you're going to look to short this here as IWM comes back in. That seems. I mean, that makes a ton of sense.
It's not a bad level either. 205.49 was the 2023 high.
Okay.
So that's not a bad level at all. We've actually seen that level be resistance for a good period of time. We've also seen it be support for a little bit as well, but mostly resistance.
Okay, I got to know, is anyone playing? Yeah, we still got time before Zunaid. Is anyone playing SMCI for earnings tonight? I mean, here's the thing. Like, we dipped below the 200-day. We have a potential here where if we report good earnings, maybe the bar's been lowered here. Stock reports good earnings. Stock trades up, recaptures that 200-day. I could see there being a run, maybe even up to the 50-day. I got that number at 803. We're currently at 606. So we're talking about a potential 200 points of movement here. Would love to know what you guys think. I haven't traded SMCI well at all. And you folks out there seem to have done a pretty good job. So I'd like to hear what your thesis is here on SMCI if you are going to play that.
I think we could see a real stupid move up to 800, and that's on this low RSI that we have right now. And, just probably people looking for something to actually, get into and hold on to for some upside. I think there's a bit of an appetite for something that's going to work in this bear market. So there could be a lot of movement in this one after hours, but tomorrow after we open, we could end up giving a lot of that back. So that's kind of what I would be watching for, is a move in the after hours on good earnings and giving it back tomorrow, or giving some of it back tomorrow.
Man, I'll tell you what, that would, if you're playing with options and you have only the move in the after hours, that is an awful feeling. That is an awful feeling. Sydney says they're holding SMCI. Okay, so you've been long that for a while though. Robert, SMCI near key support. Excuse me, Robert. Lots of possible upside, and like I was saying, man, we recapture this 200-day. We can juice right back up to even just the volume shelf that we had here at what, 875, 50-day moving average at 805. Lots of upside targets there for sure. And you guys were talking about the implied move here, 80%, Jay, 83%. So it looks like the move here, a significant amount of points. Man, I wonder, are these options still extremely expensive? Let's check out what the August expiry cost. Man, oh man. Those are expensive. So yeah, I would be curious to see what any of you folks are doing here with us. I'd almost rather trade the stock. At least you can get out of it in the after hours. Anyway,
that's a good point. Yeah, I with the volatility that we have in the market and how choppy it's been, it could do some wild things, and I'm not sure where it's going to end up landing. I totally could see this having good earnings and running up in the after hours like we've seen so many stocks do before this year. And then, it could give a lot of that back tomorrow.
Here's Ryan. Ryan saying last few earnings have been beats, right? Yes, indeed, Ryan, they have. If you take a look at the earnings history calendar, the last 4 reports have been a significant surprise to the upside on EPS. And of those same 4 reports, only the last one had a negative surprise in revenue. One of those had a really massive upside surprise in revenue. So yes, Ryan, I would agree with you. I would say that this has beaten technically, the last report was only a beat on the top line, not on the bottom line. But you're right. Your point is still the same here. These have been beats recently.
So is NVIDIA, and look where that one is, down 35%.
True.
So it's just, some of these earnings are starting to, they're surprise beats, they're surprise revenues. They're starting to get smaller and smaller and smaller, and makes a lot of investors wonder if this is we're seeing peak earnings.
I'm still wondering that. Right, I'm still wondering if we're dealing with peak earnings. Okay, I'm gonna move back. Good stuff there in SMCI. I still would love to know if any of you take that. And I would say again, I'm not looking to, given what's going on here. But honestly, if I did, I would play that with stock. I would play that with stock. And here, the other thing, Tom. Sorry, I misclicked there. Holding options when they do earnings at the close has killed me with Chipotle. You're right. Maybe it's better to hold the stock. There is nothing worse than watching a stock move in the direction of the options that you have. And you're like, yes, this is going to be a good trade. And then you wake up the next day and it's come all the way back down. Premiums evaporated, binary events out of the way, market opens, IV drops, you're sad. It's bad. And if you're active and you're there and you can play that with stock, might be a little bit better for you.
Brittany Tall, for finding levels, you can use pretty much almost any time frame that's less than a day, so you can see the intraday trading, and you can find some pretty good levels that way. I use the 1 hour to find levels when I want to go back, much further than a week or so, and see the price action. But typically, when I trade on a 5 minute, but I do use the daily sometimes too. But for finding levels, an hour and daily will work.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I think the levels that I find the most at are probably going to be the daily, the hourly, and the 15-minute, a combination of those three. And then when I see those levels, I often zoom into the 5 or the 1 to see what it looks like magnified, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But I generally, unless it's super obvious and clean, which means it will show up on a different time frame, I don't just use the 1 minute for levels. That doesn't seem prudent to me. Lumen's going. You guys are all talking about Lumen right now. Hey, we did move to the upside here.
That thing, this opened at what, $3.99, and then so far this entire morning, it's gone up as high as 25 cents. So you've made 26 cents. Not that that's not bad or anything. It's provided some great opportunities, but this is the point we were making this morning about how the float really affects this movement. It's been slow moving all day. Serve just ripping though. That's at 1777 now. That's the new high.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
And if you go to like a 1 hour chart, you can see that we're coming up to a level. Looks like 1830, about 1835, where that's the high from a few days ago last week, and then we get into the last time it was is really moving, where it went up to 2409. So there's potential for this to move up to that level again if this keeps up and starts breaking through these levels of consolidation. The next one where it's currently at, which is basically, we'll call it 1780 and 1960 consolidation there.
Weather not good for pet health. Are you talking about the Chicago weather? I think it looks like a fall day outside, but it's not.
Hi, Easy Mike.
Easy Mike, what's going on, boss? Director of Happiness checking in here. I like that title. I like that you gave me that title. I'm honored. Crassy giving you a option. Crassy says, you know what? We're not even going to wait for Anne Marie. We're just going to give you an option trade idea right now. Just Crassy's doing it on his own. I love it. Buy the August 23rd 500 call and sell the 700 call against it. So let me see here.
Lumen with a big move now.
Oh, really? Okay, let me go to that while I investigate something here. At least you'll have a visual aid to talk about instead of looking at this. Hang on one second.
Right after I said that it doesn't move a whole bunch and it just has a big old breakout.
All you had to do was say it, boss. That was it.
Yeah. Lumen just needed that, that motivation. 440 now is the high. And we're getting into the gap fill area. That gap fills at about 5. That'd be wild if it filled the gap.
So wait. So the AUG 23. So I just want to kind of do this on the AUG 23. So 17 days to expiration. You want to have a 500 call.
Serve 1779 now, but it looks like it's starting to slow down. Have a Big wall of sell orders at 1775. Looks like it's coming back in. We'll see how low it goes. 1720 would be the next support level that it just put in with these highs. Looks like Mara and CLSK still trying to work their way up. RR is under $1 now.
Yeah. So real quick. So, we have to go, don't we? What time is it? Zunaid, are we good? I don't.
Yeah, you don't know what that thumbs up means. You got about another 5 minutes. What you got? What's on your mind?
I'm just trying to examine this here because Cressy was kind enough to share something here. So Cressy, let me know. Oh, you were talking about a different one though. You're talking about this week's. Oh, setting up this tool is sorry, Zunaid. I'm trying to. This is the August 9th. All that he was looking. So I can't do it on split. I see what you were trying to do there. Anyway, this is basically what I came up with. I don't have the different. They both have the expiry of the August 23rd here, but you're basically looking to play between the 500 or to play between where we are right now and 700, and you're using that as your upside there. Jay said, I'm not risking 20K on that. I wouldn't necessarily do that either. I'm basically doing a poor man's covered call. Okay, well, if you take this, let me know how this works out. Be curious to see it. Anyway, Zunaid, I'm sorry. I wanted to get that out here before
Good.
What do we got coming up?
Well, we've got All Access coming up here in just a few moments. We'll talk with Sanjeev Menon, who is a chief architect of iLearningEngines. A lot of great conversations to be had there. The ticker, by the way, for those of you that are interested on the NASDAQ, is AILE. So that's coming up here in about 4 minutes or so. But what's happening in the markets? Are people kind of calm, relaxed? They don't think it's the end of the world like they did it 2 days ago? We're good?
Yeah, I'll actually even say I'm pretty proud of our chat yesterday. Nobody really thought it was the end of the world. Everyone seemed to be pretty calm. What's going on right now, Zunaid, is that we're trying to break out of this 524, 525 area on SPY.
Yeah.
It looks like that's kind of what we're doing here. How about you, 13?
I still have 527 as where we could end up topping out today. Okay. This movement is, while it looks pretty bullish, it's been pretty slow. I have a feeling that at some point we're just going to come up to resistance and reverse.
Well, you've got on the here. Let me just share my charts on the NQ before we get rocking and rolling here. Here's what I've got, right? So we had a double bottom, if you will, on the 17,355. Now we're trying to break above, and then the 1800s went ahead and held, quite well. Now you're looking to break out above this 18,382, which you can see on the left-hand side was support. Resistance, and we'll see if we can finally break through that. We're about 70 points away from that on the NQ. We take a look at the ES here real quick. Got a long ways to go, but you do also have resistance that you couldn't get over on the past. I think this was, what was that, Monday? It was Monday, August 5th, so just yesterday. Looking to get above this area of 5307. We're right there. So we'll see if we can break above it or if we just go ahead and come back and possibly retest the 5380s, which is about 17 points or so, 20 points lower, give or take. So that's what I've got. And then you had NVIDIA. They tried to hold the $100 yesterday. It finally did. And now you've got that resistance coming up. You saw it in pre-market as well, the 106.50s. And Warren Buffett selling his Apple shares. A little surprised. I don't know the last time he dumped that many shares on a ticker. I'm sure he has. It's not like I follow him religiously, but that was interesting. You've got an inside day possibly here on Apple. So something to keep in mind if we close a day like that as well.
Yeah, he was selling up until then, and I think it marks a 50% sale now as of the most recent one. I think he sold half of his position in total.
Yeah.
His cash position grows to a huge amount.
After All Access, what you got?
We got Anne-Marie coming up after All Access. So we're going to come up with your stocks that you want to see some multi-leg trades on. We'll go ahead and run that down. Really excited to have Anne-Marie back here. So should be a really awesome day throughout.
Cool. And then again, just a reminder for the folks, if you haven't already and you want to, you can sign up for our Trade Zero competition that's powered, our Benzinga World Trading Competition powered by Trade Zero. $30,000 is what you've got up for grabs. If you're interested in that, click the link in the chat. You can go ahead and sign up. The competition starts in just a little over a month. You've got my pretty face over there as well. So yeah, a lot of great stuff. You get a chance to win 3 times because we've got 3 separate competitions happening to close out the year. So fun times ahead. Any final thoughts from you two before we get to All Access here?
Might just be, lay back and see what happens in the market kind of day, unless I see something that's taking shape that's interesting enough to trade. Because for me right now, market's not looking that great to me.
Yeah, I would agree with 13. The market is not enticing me to buy anything new here yet. That's probably the big thing. So I'm gonna be patient. I'm gonna remain patient so I don't become a patient and protect my capital.
Amen to that, brother. Well, you have fun. We'll see you in about 10 minutes or so to hang out with Anne-Marie. I'll talk to you later. All right, chat. We appreciate you for continuing to hang out. As you know, we love to give you trade ideas on the technical side of things, but we also want to know fundamentally what is going on with some of the companies. And that's why I'm excited to talk to Sanjeev Menon, who is a chief architect in the AI ML space. And you've also got him, with iLearningEngines. I've talked to him plenty of times. It's been great conversations. AI it's been such a buzzword for quite some time. And now you kind of really get to see how this company is using it within the sector as well. And again, if you didn't hear me earlier, their ticker is AILE. All Access starts right now. Sanjeev, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here, Sinead. It's my pleasure.
Absolutely. So there's so many things to talk about when it comes to AI, right? I mentioned this a lot where I wish I had AI access to it when I was in school, because I think, all jokes aside, it would have helped me learn better and not just give me the answers, if that makes sense. But before we kind of dive in and look under the hood, give us the folks at home a quick idea of what is it that you do.
So, chief architect at iLearningEngines. So basically, we are into developing the iLearning applied AI platform. So basically, what the platform allows is basically looking at the enterprise learning and work automation, and eventually, our idea is to drive the enterprise intelligence towards that, right? Because as we know, it's a transformative technology, and really super excited to be here in this time and space, spearheading this transformation as we have never seen it earlier.
There's some, it's a great time to be alive in terms of what the technology is available to us here in this space that we're able to take advantage of. There are a lot of, like I said, buzzwords of AI has been in the space for quite some time. There are a lot of companies that are kind of using AI in their industries as well. What do you think is the unique value proposition that sets, your company apart from the other AI applications in the development platforms that we see?
Yeah, so basically, in terms of from a value proposition point of view, we focus on delivering actual business value. We do this through AI engines. To explain a little bit more, the problem that we see today is that enterprises are not getting actual business value out of AI. Okay. What makes iLearningEngines stand out is our rapid deployment of customized AI in a secure environment that drives business value and enterprise intelligence. That is basically like iLearningEngines allows organizations to quickly realize specific business value with AI by protecting and productizing enterprise knowledge in the form of AI engines. What does this mean? This means that we enable businesses to take the enterprise knowledge, store it, protect it, and learn from it to secure AI assets that is unique to that organization. This allows the AI engines built on our platform to fit into any kind of an enterprise in a flexible way, and our clients' success are testament to this value delivery.
So then how does your platform and like the AI applications developed on it compare against, say, the horizontal generative AI?
So basically, iLearningEngines generative AI is customized and specifically trained on enterprise data, focusing on solving a specific business problem, which makes it usable for a wide variety of industry use cases. So generative AI, is like you rightly said in the starting of this interview, it's a hyped up word as it stands today. But the generative AI solutions broadly available have 3 things that they don't do well, which inhibits their usage and adoption in the business settings. That is one is they are very generic. They are not customized for a specific use case or trained on enterprise data.
Yeah.
They are unsecure. businesses need AI solutions, but they also trained on their data, but they also want to protect that data. And these generative AI solutions, they are incomplete because most business solutions need a combination of AI models and components to truly solve business problems end to end. So that's where we completely fail in terms of against any of the generative AI components that is out there in the market. It's like a complete end-to-end platform that focuses on business value delivery.
You mentioned the word adoption. So let me go ahead and say, in this, in my opinion, there's been a lot of discussion about the promise of AI for enterprises. You kind of mentioned it. We've seen, I can't remember, there's some fast food place which is now integrating AI when it comes to drive-through aspects of it. You have apps that are using AI to respond back, whether it's in the medical field, the airline field, or whatever the case may be. But there now seems to be maybe a little bit of not as fast of an acceleration at the pace as some people may have expected. In your opinion, can you explain the viewpoint on the delayed AI adoption, or do you not agree with that at all? And do you feel like, no, they have been adopting at a pace that you're happy with?
No. The AI adoption definitely, like now we need to go a long way there. But many people still seems to think that AI is not a big deal. And frankly speaking, they are wrong. They are not considering the reality. Because in today's world, AI may not replace humans, but the reality is companies and people using AI will end up replacing companies and people not using AI. The problem today is that the most of the AI solutions are generic and takes too long to deploy and haven't been designed to solve specific enterprise use cases. It is not secure and does not add to the enterprise intelligence. The customizations, I mean, in our case, the customization and specific models provided by our platform are what is driving our success by driving business value for end customers, right?
Yeah.
So typically what happens is that businesses need a way to drive value with AI, solving specific problems end to end without human intervention, without having to process the deep AI technical know-how. There are too many, like you rightly said, there are too many AI solutions, takes too long to deploy, does not deliver on the value promised by the hype of AI. This is exactly where ILE applied AI platform with our no-code canvas, AI engines, and our global partner ecosystem comes into the picture to help the enterprises to overcome these AI challenges and essentially driving enterprise adoption of AI and enterprise intelligence. That's the holy grail that we are driving towards.
Yeah. There was an article that I read on CNN. It said more than half, so approximately 61% is what they quoted, of large U.S. firms had planned to use AI within the next year to automate tasks previously done by, employees, by humans. And then,
Correct.
I mean, I know for me in my personal life as well, AI makes me better in my critical thinking. It lets me think outside the box. Let me think of different ways to attack strategies that I might not be familiar with. So not only does it kind of elevate the thinking, but also speed is a factor as well. So I'm no longer spending an hour, 2 hours thinking of like a strategy. I'm just a consumer of it, right? I'm not an enterprise. So you can only imagine how often they use it. I think there was another company that's using AI to replace their customer service employees, because you are able to respond faster and you're able to respond to a lot more individuals and solve their problems with more accuracy as well.
Correct.
I think that's incredible there. Those are good things. What are some challenges that you see in having this adoption be as widespread as we would like, or at least I would like? What are some challenges you see in the AI adoption space, especially when it comes to enterprises?
So one of is basically, like, I would say that some level of distrust with AI itself, in terms of, like, people know that AI, and then especially with large language models, like, there were so many instances of hallucinations to data leakage to various different aspects there.
Yeah.
That is one, definitely, like, so that basically, like in any large enterprise, when you look at, they are hesitant to, from an adoption point of view, that is where. But what we have been seeing is that we have been pretty successful in terms of converting our prospects into customers because of the value delivery that we are looking at. Because now suddenly, like, with our platform, what the enterprises are looking at is that they are able to productize their institutional knowledge and deliver that at the right place at the right time to the right stakeholders, right? So and the enterprises are sure that the AI works only within their data, and they are sure that the learnings are not leaking out of the organization for a larger model training and stuff like that. So basically, we are able to provide that kind of a comfort as well as assurance to our customers, and that's definitely driving our adoption, and that shows in terms of our scale as well, because right now we started on this journey of enterprise intelligence in 2010. Now today we have global offices. We have around 4 million users, around 1,000 plus enterprise customers. A wide range of partner ecosystem. So that's testament to that our credibility there as such.
Yeah, and we've seen what happened with CrowdStrike, and it wasn't anything. It wasn't a negative thing in terms they didn't get hacked or anything like that, but it was something that did impact so many different businesses. Their stock price took such a big hit as well. So it is very important to make sure that things run effectively, but also securely as well in terms of data, because now we are sharing more and more and more of our habits and our tendencies for these targeted ads and for anything else that might be used. I want to give you the floor. I've only got a minute here with you, but any final thoughts, any topics that you want to talk about that I didn't get a chance to bring up? The floor is yours with our viewers.
So basically what I wanted to talk about is basically in terms of our AI engine. So basically the concept is that the AI engines, or sometimes called as hyper apps, that allows any business to get the value out of AI very quickly, because of the pre-trained models, data and model pipelines, and ease of deployment. So basically, the AI engines, coordinating AI engines along with humans, is the kind of an enterprise workforce that we envision in the future, where AI works, and if I may say so, shoulder to shoulder with humans to drive the outcomes that you desire, and in a very, 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 very secure, safe, and ethical way, because that's also a very, very important consideration, because it's a new space that we are in, and we have to be very the environment as well as ethical consideration has to go in. So we drive that engagement there.
Awesome. Well, hey, I appreciate your insights. It's always good to talk AI, especially from the enterprise side, because again, I know about it from the consumer end, but it's always great to get the other side of it as well. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it here today, Sanjeev.
Thank you for having me here, Sunit.
Absolutely. You have a great day.
Bye-bye.
That is Sanjeev Menon, who is a chief architect AI ML for iLearningEngines. Ticker on the NASDAQ is AILE. And we've got great content coming up. You've got Ryan that'll be hopping right back on. You've also got Tech Tune-Up with Paul Meeks. So if you want to know, hey, how do I digest everything that's happening in the markets right now? What is possibly a good buy? What is possibly a trap? Paul Meeks is a guy you want to talk to. But Ryan, give me a thumbs up whenever you are ready. What's up, buddy?
What's going on? So we are waiting for Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie said she had a computer issue and she's working on a restart. So we expect her here shortly. I'm gonna look. I got a question for you. Are you a football fan?
I am a football fan, yes.
Okay, so tonight we have the season premiere of Hard Knocks, and they're following around my Bears team. And I literally don't know if I could be more excited for a non-football game than I am for the premiere.
Well, the question is, I see Anne-Marie in the background, so I'll get out of here in just a minute. But the question is, are you watching the premiere episode of Hard Knocks featuring the Bears with popcorn or butter chicken? Like which one of those two is it that you're going to enjoy tonight? Or is it going to be both because you like to live life on the edge and your stomach hates you? I don't know. What are you thinking here?
Okay, well, I don't know what you're trying to do to me there. Here's what I will say. I will be long done with dinner by then. And by that point, I will have entered fasting time. So I will likely just be watching that with a non-alcoholic beverage this evening. I don't think I'm going to have food for that. I'll be all done by then.
I didn't expect you to be responsible. I'm a little mad that you are, but I do appreciate it.
Sometimes you gotta turn over a new leaf and do the responsible things.
I love it. One day I'll get there. But I appreciate you, man. Anne-Marie, you have a great show. And again, Tech Tune Up afterwards, and I'll see y'all later.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Sinead. Appreciate it.
I removed you instead of me.
I love that. Right. That was actually awesome. That might be one of the better bloopers that I've ever seen. I'm getting ready to talk and you removed me and kept it. That was awesome, Sinead. Well done. Okay. Now we're doing it correctly this time, folks. Get excited. Put your hands together. It is time for Anne-Marie. I hope you guys were thinking about tickers. I know. Don't worry. We're going to ask her about SMCI. Let's go ahead and bring her on. Anne-Marie. How are you today? No, I still have you muted there. Okay. So sound issue. Maybe Zunaid is still there. Anne-Marie, I'm going to put you in the back here so you can fix that. You can always give me a thumbs up if you want me to bring you back on. That would be fine. Visual looked good. I just think that it might be the wrong input for the sound there. Okay. So we got to say hello to Anne-Marie, and then I removed her from the meeting. So sorry about that, folks, but we will get her back here.
I've got like 2 minutes. I just told my client I'm running late for 2 minutes just to hang out with you. So we're good.
Look, go to your client. I mean, dude, I'll hang out with the chat. Like, we don't need to keep clients waiting.
Cool. All right, cool. Bye.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
See, this time I did it on purpose. This time it was on purpose. All right, I'm out. Bye.
We're going to get this figured out at some point here today. That much I can promise you. Okay, so I will go to Anne-Marie when we have the sound fixed. We'll see what's going on with that. Let me ask you though first. Let me go ahead and just bring up Pro here real quick. Let's maybe use this time to come up with a short list until she's available. Okay. So I think we're definitely going to ask her about SMCI, but let's keep in mind SMCI obviously reports earnings today. She might not want to put on one of her trades until after the earnings print is through, which will obviously be tomorrow morning. But let's see, what other stocks would you like Anne-Marie to set up a multi-leg option trade on? Easy Mike, you were mentioning literally my favorite store in the world, so I'm not sure. I'm just going to go ahead and bring this up here real quick. Cost. This is having a nice day. 3% here, up 27 points. Palantir Webcoin, we will do that. Blocker that I am missing. Where do I find those? In Chrome. Hang on a sec. Trying to do a screen share here to get Anne-Marie back on. In Chrome, it is in the upper right corner. Don't know about Safari. We've got, those are the air raid test sirens that they have. Okay, so Palantir, we'll add that one. Do we want to talk about gold? Do we want to do this? What if you do want me to set up a trade or have her set up a trade with gold? Let me know what the ticker is that you'd want to set that up on, and we'll go ahead and try that. But I do like Palantir. I do like SMCI. I don't think the Costco option chain is going to be good enough to set up one of those trades. So we'll just admire the nice green candle that we have here on Costco. I mean, I'll take that. Voodoo, love this. Okay, let me go ahead and read this one. SMH, right? So you want to take a look at the semis? We can do that. Let's take a look here. Here are your semis. She posted this butterfly trade, both puts and a call. Can she go over the rationale for the put call combo butterfly? I'm sure she can. I don't want to. Well, maybe I just spoke for her. Let me just add these tickers down here. We've got SMCI, PLTR, and SMH so far. Obviously, we're running out of time here with the options, with the sound problem that we're having here. But those are good. Those are going to be good tickers to take a look at. What else can we do here in the meantime while we're waiting for her? I definitely apologize for the technical issue, but that's what we deal with sometimes when everyone's remote. So don't know what to tell you. But what else are we looking at? What else is going on here? VKTX calls coming across the wire. Was that actually a lot, or were those small? Those were small here. Jay Rice, are you still out there? Are you still trading VKTX? This actually looks like a pretty decent spot against 48.5. Buy some puts then from, you were talking to Frank there. Okay. Let me know if anyone's trading VKTX to the upside here. I'm curious. I think there's still another move in this stock, and I have no position at the moment. You are in. Okay, Jay, whatever you don't mind talking about here. Is this a stock? Is this an options trade? I think that there's still another move here to the upside. Alex saying good call on Fubo. What did Fubo do here? Oh, it gave everything back. Yeah, you like that warning earlier today? We've seen this stock pop and drop. That was why I didn't even, you know what, Alex? I didn't even look at that after we talked about this in the morning. I didn't even pull this up again. And look what happened here. Fell right back down to where it's literally where it consolidated. Okay. Well, hey, if we saved you from losing money there, awesome. That is, look, like I said, once you start donating money to some of these crappier stocks, you don't want to do it again. I learned my lesson. The bad ones, I remember them. Fubo was one of those, and Fubo also got talked about quite a bit on X and FinTwit. It seemed like that was really, wasn't Fubo like a clothing brand too? Fubu, I think it was. Saying clown posse used to wear, well, whatever. I'm digressing here. Okay. I trimmed some this AM on VKTX. It's a trading stock for me. Sold some on the news 2 weeks ago. You have Lilly and NVO reporting this Thursday. Oh, interesting, Jay. Okay, so you're just kind of trading it back and forth. Really smart. Probably means you won't take a huge drawdown on any of those things. You're not married to the stock. All of that really great for traders. What do you think is going to happen with those earnings? Do you think that's going to be a positive for the entire space and a rising tide lifts all boats? Or do you think maybe here's some more negativity out of Novo and Lilly, and thus VKTX ends up outperforming? We'll see. Let me know. Okay, I have Fubo TV and I love it. The stock, not so much. Alex, there are so many stocks where I like the product and don't like the stock, and that is frustrating. So I'm with you on that one. Emery, you think we're good? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay, we heard a yes. Well, I saw a yes and a thumbs up. Hi, Emery.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. It does sound like a different microphone, but we do have that voice. So we're good.
I changed the machine completely. I had to go to another machine. Sound's been hijacked on my PC, so here I am on the Mac.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. All my Mac fanboy friends are literally jumping up and down, pointing at the screen, saying, "Ryan, I told you, Mac just works and PC doesn't." So we'll let them get their victory lap, Anne Marie. We'll it's okay. I don't need to win them all, so we'll let them get their victory lap. I do have a couple of tickers here to go over. I know we're obviously running on a little truncated time here. And by the way, Anne Marie, if you have some time later today, I'm sure Aaron from our tech team can help you out with that. We can troubleshoot that. He's an ace with that, so we can help you. Don't worry about that. I really appreciate you switching computers, but I promise we'll help you here. Do you have a screen to share here on a new computer? It's okay if you don't.
I just uploaded. I mean, I just opened up Thinkorswim, and so let me get back to my Chrome and see if we can share the screen, because it's okay. Chrome, open settings.
Real quick here, Easy Mike. Yes, I was trying to draw the comparison there. I was differentiating between Fubo and Fubu. I forgot, but yeah. And then Jay says, I'm leaning both, showing impressive growth in GLP. Okay, so that looks like you're just kind of doing a sympathy. You think that the numbers are going to be good, and as a result, so too is VKTX. That makes a lot of sense to me. What else did we miss here?
Okay, can you see anything? I think Chrome has said no. I'm not going to.
Yeah, no, I don't see anything shared here. I don't see anything shared here, but that's okay. One of the things. So no, it's okay. One of the things that I can try here, if I'm going to drive, is I can try using our option tool here. Perfect. To set up some of these trades. So this is a test run. We're trying stuff live, so please forgive me if I screw up here. But Anne Marie, let's start here. Well, let's talk about which one let's pick the best one, since we might have a truncated timetable here. Let's pick the best one. The three stocks that people asked for setting up or talking about here today are going to be SMCI, which reports earnings after the bell. So I'm not sure if we want to take a trade ahead of earnings. Okay, that you didn't even wait to hear the other two. That tells me that you were locked in, and we are definitely going to go with SMCI. So actually, I think I already had this one up here. I did. Okay, so I'm going to try and build this for you here. If you tell me the strategy, I should then be able to search for it, add it, and then just adjust some sliders to keep up with you.
Okay, so backdrop is that when the VIX gets to be a beast like it is right now, and it begins expanding, even though it's still, I don't know, I think it's dropped below 30 today. But when that happens, our butterflies have even more power. The flip side is that they can be a little bit more expensive. So I can see SMCI on my other chart. And so I'm going to pop it up there. And if we are thinking about earnings today, we have to think to ourselves, all right, what kind of pullback have we seen over the last, I don't know, let's say 10 weeks, right? Because we've had a little bit of a wiggly coming back into the moving average. What is this purple moving at? No, maybe that's indigo. You have an indigo moving average that's sitting right near the candlesticks. Just maybe you have like a drop down with down further.
This
down
one?
Further. No, that one I would call purple. The one just above it.
Right here.
Boys and girls, we look at candles different ways. Yes, that one.
Yes.
Colors.
Okay. So here we go. So this is actually a blue, which is close to indigo. This is the 200 day. So really quickly, just to set the stage here, purple's 5, blue or indigo is 200. The lighter purple's 20, and then the yellow is 50.
Okay, fantastic. And so if you will allow me, I'm going to just add a drawing on my screen over here to see where we are. And so my suspicion is that we have an upside event coming here from earnings. Okay, so the question is, do we want to position for the crazy downside event that might come and take us into 450? And do we position for the upside event that essentially takes us, I don't know, 650, right? All right, so 450, pretty far away. 650, not so far away. So let's look at some butterflies.
Okay.
All right, and so the butterflies, if we want no time at all, and we're either in or out, we're looking for a massive move, and this would be the most risk, okay?
Okay. So
in
are we
terms
going
of percentage.
Are we going to do a long call butterfly? Or are we going to set up
Yes,
both?
we're going to do both.
We're going to do a long put and a long call. So I think
Yes.
Thinkorswim does this a little bit differently. So let's do one at a time here. We're going to start first with the long call butterfly.
Okay. So for the long call butterfly, oh, you know what? I actually have this trade. We have to take this off in the trading room because we had this trade and it's got all the money set up. Wow, why didn't I close that one? All right, never mind. We put on a trade a couple of weeks ago that was the 600, 570, 640 put spread, and we bought it at 47 cents and it's worth $3.10 today.
Okay,
And
so that's a 600% move. Let's go.
Yeah, so we got to sell that one. I have to remember to do that after we get off the horn here. So
okay,
now if we look at the 650 area, that's a good size bounce. So we're going to go 650, and then we're going to do 660, and then 670.
Okay, so the first call here is at 650. The sold call here is at 660, and the other one is at 670.
Yes.
Okay.
I have that it's going for 25 cents.
Okay,
Maybe.
Okay, that's great. I'm glad that you have that on your screen because all this does is show the actual potential profit and loss. I don't actually have prices. So amazing there. You have that. What was that again? 60 what cents? What was that?
Now it's saying 30 cents.
Okay.
Okay, so here's what we have between 30 and 40 cents for a $50 move. Listen, market makers are positioning a $74 move here into earnings. And so us being here between 607, where it's right about now, and 660, which is our middle strike, is just right in the sweet spot of where the market makers are saying the move could come. Now, bad news, if it doesn't do anything, we lose all of the 30 cents because we don't have time to recover, because options expiration for this one expiring on the 16th is just around the bend, and so a little bit of nothing could happen. All right, let's go to the flip side, and then let's say if it's an outsized move to the downside, we have 525.
Sandeep, real quick, is asking, when is the SMCI expiration? We have the August 16th expiry.
Yes.
So that's 10 days there, Sandeep.
Yes,
Good question.
that's
Sorry if that
all we're
wasn't
getting.
clear.
Yeah, 10 days. And so let's do this one here. Let's, instead of going to the 450, where I think it could fall to, let's use the market makers, and they are saying $75. So let's go to 525 as our strike.
Okay, I only
And
have
then-
530. I actually don't have a 525 here.
Okay.
So I only have
So how about a
520 and
520?
530. Okay,
You have
perfect.
20? Okay, so let's do the 520, 510 to 500. So that gives us, hang on a second, while little Miss Shrek Fingers does her work. The worst. 520, 510. I gotta find some Shrek finger gloves that I can wear. Okay, also 35 cents. So for $70, because everything's multiplied by 100 when we trade in the options market, we're taking a $70 position that could give us as much as $1,000 in motion. Okay, so my thought would be, this looks like a great risk reward. Do not lose the boat, folks. That's not how these butterflies work. Listen, we could sit back and go, you know, I really wish I'd have taken 20 of those. But if it goes in the other direction and you're down $1,400 and you only have a $3,000 account, or only looking for $3,000 to risk for an entire month, you know what? You've just blown up your whole day and you've ruined your psyche. So don't do that. A couple of these look fantastic, though. And so you buy one of the calls, one of the puts. How to manage it. Now, the earnings come out after the close today, correct?
Yep, after the close.
So what you want to do is tomorrow morning, take a look at where the chart is. If it's sitting dead in the middle and sitting at $608, just go ahead and close it out, because it's going to be worth like a nickel, and almost all of the money that you spent will be vaporized. Full disclosure. However, if it does move, like the market makers say, and it either gaps way down or gaps way up, wait for the first 15 minutes to stabilize the option chains and then sell them, because you have very little time and whatever you get is going to be gravy. It's either going to screaming gap up and buyers are going to sell it off, or it's going to be a screaming gap down and buyers are going to buy that support. And so the first 15 minutes of the day is likely to give you the best bang for your buck. You won't have to manage theta erosion. All the volatility is going to slip out because it's post expiration. And then Bob's your uncle. Okay, now, if you are the kind of trader that says, I don't want to do that. I don't want to trade pre-earnings. I want to trade post-earnings. You could potentially, if the market does nothing tonight, you could potentially take the same trade, but you'd want to move the expiration out to September or even October. Okay? September expiry or October expiry. Why? Because butterflies will work in high volatility events. The further out you buy them, the less sensitive they are to price. But if you hang on, you're going to get great motion. So for us, we put on this SMCI trade. It looks like about the week before I left on holiday. And so we've had it for 3 weeks or so, and the market just happened to crater in our favor. And as volatility continues to rise, butterflies become so sweet. This is peak butterfly beauty season. And so as long as we're using price action properly, we're going to be able to get ourselves some pretty nice trades.
Okay, so we are in butterflies. That I have not heard before, but that is pretty sweet.
Yeah,
Okay.
high vol equal butterfly season.
And so basically just the concept here with the earnings portion of the SMCI trade is that we're going to take put and call butterflies together. And we're going to do it in such a way where the expected move is likely to put one of those into profit. And we're getting filled at such a good entry that it doesn't matter that one of them expires worthless. That's the overall thesis. Perfect.
Exactly.
We're
playing both sides of the fence.
And this is really good because we were actually talking before you got on during the show. We were actually talking about playing SMCI for earnings. If you were interested in it, took a look at the option chain. They're incredibly expensive. This is a great way to really kind of reduce that risk. And in this trading idea, we're actually not even being forced to pick a side, right? We're going to play both sides here. So I love that. I love how you set that one up. That's really great. Okay, we've got 4 minutes here. So Webcoin is saying, can you repeat the strikes and expiry for this setup? Yes, we'll be happy to do that. I know we're working on a different technology than we're used to. I've got the put side loaded up here. So what she has here is the puts that you're buying are the 500 and the 520. And the middle, the body of that butterfly, the one that you're selling is the 510. We talked about this being the August expiry, the August 16th expiry. That gives us 10 days to expiration. Okay, so Webcoin, let me know if you got that. Now, Anne-Marie, do you still have the call side on your screen there?
Yes, I do. It's the 650 and 670. Those are the ones we're going long.
Okay.
The 660 is the one we're going short.
Okay, there you go, Webcoin. So you should have them all there. That is going to be the same expiry as the put one. Awesome. Okay, we have 2 minutes here. Did you want to cover anything else real quick? I know we kind of got hit with the technology issue, but we're going to get that fixed. Anything you want to cover up here in the last 2 minutes? It's okay if we don't want to do a trade. If we want to just kind of talk about the market or where we're at or any of that, that would be fine too, because we do have to go to Paul Meeks next.
Okay, so the big thing, folks, is when we're trading like this, in this kind of volatility, what happens is candlesticks get very big. But if you're patient and when in doubt, zoom out. And instead of saying, oh no, this market is moving so quickly, I need to go to 1 minute so I can see how things are moving and get involved, that is the worst thing you can do. Slip back and go, what's my weekly chart telling me? Is it near support? Is it near resistance? What should I see? And so this morning, if you go to your Benzinga Pro platform, you're going to see the morning video in my drop down. And I said, hey, listen, I said it earlier in the week also as a little note in there. listen, the dip buyers are going to try to come in here, but there's going to be lots of cross current. So in your trading today, no matter what you're looking at, look for price pressure to move from support to resistance to support to resistance, and then shake out the weak hands on either side. That's what they're going to do. So it's really fierce trading. If you have a practice account, use that.
Yeah.
If you have a demo account, use that. But if you use it like it's real trading, instead of saying, oh my gosh, I got to find out a way to make money, if you just focus on, let me understand what is happening to the traders and price, man, you're going to learn a lot, and it is going to help you dramatically. Ryan, thanks for having me on. I'm so sorry about the tech issues, but I am going to hit you up for Aaron.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I'm actually going to put you in contact with him. We'll get that solved today. We're going to be on later tonight, so we'll be sure to get that solved. We're going to be good for Friday again, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Real quickly here, I got to mention this, then we're going to send you over to Paul Meeks. Jay Rice mentioning use a limit order when you're filling these. Anne-Marie, you say that all the time. Crassy say these are not easy to fill. Remember, put your limit order out there and wait for it. Let it to get filled. Really good stuff here. Appreciate it. Okay, Anne-Marie, look, what we do is we deal with problems here. We're not going to let any problems derail what we're trying to do. We're gonna get through it. So thanks very much for your time here. We're going to send you over to Paul Meeks now. See you tomorrow, folks. Have a good one.